Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta, the horrible man behind Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And apparently, when someone is an admitted cuck, like not a joke cuck, right? An admitted cuckold who's boasted about their wife dating someone else, it is horrible. This is just in case you run into this in the future. I want you guys to be prepared. It is horrible to ask the person, the cuckold, if their wife is still dating the person that they announced she was dating. I guess that's wrong. I don't know. What are the rules anymore? What are the rules? If we can't ask someone in a happy poly whatever relationship, if we can't ask them how their wife is doing while dating another man, what can we ask? Really, when you get down to it. I don't even know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. Here I am, politely asking how someone's spouse is doing, and then I'm the bad guy. You guys want to see what I'm talking about? We'll get there. We'll get there. Y'all, it is truly a pleasure. There's a super chat that I need to address right away. It's large, but that's not the only reason I want to address it right away. It's important. I mean, it's important just mainly because I've got something to say about it, which I don't always have something to say about a super chat. I usually have to find the words or whatever, but this one I have something to say about. So let me get it pulled up. So I accurately relay the question. One of the first super chats we got was before the show. It's from Eshershill. Hold on. Where's all my stuff? Okay. It's from Eshershill. Let's do this one right away. This is a $100 chat. Thank you so much. It says, honestly, do you ever get tired of it? I avoid Greg's cancerous timeline, but some of the people I follow pull him into my feed on occasion. Isn't that the worst? Judging by the little I've seen, he's probably slandered Vic more than the defendants combined and fighting with Dunford every day. Well, the answer to your question is, do I ever get tired? Polyamorous means that there's love going all around, right? Like, I'm going to get back to you, DC. I'm going to get back to you. I don't know if I agree with that term. So anyway, yeah, of course I get tired of it. I get tired of all these idiots. But what do? They're there. They're trying to grasp desperately onto a narrative and change it. And I mean, I'm not really sure what each of their individual motivations are. We can start to find it. There are people desperately seeking approval, like the thumbnail picture, right? Mike, that guy's got to be seeking approval from someone. Look at him. And I don't mean look at him. I'm not making fun of his looks right now. Right now, I'm not making fun of his looks. I mean, look at him. So he's an attorney, doesn't appear to have ever practiced, licensed in Hawaii, which is fine. Lots of attorneys don't practice. Now he's going for his PhD in what? Who knows? His wife is in the army, so he gets bounced around from place to place. There's all sorts of memes and jokes I could do about that, but why bother? The end result is, look at Mike. This is the most attention he's gotten maybe ever. And he's pulling for more of that. And he's pulling it from a crowd that he finds to be academic, right? He finds them, he's an academic attorney. He finds the crowd that he's getting response from to be the people he wants. He wants to be up in the tower with the, like, I hate making the stupid, like, elites versus the peoples type thing. Because I don't see intellectuals as elites in any sort of way. But he wants this insular group to love him. Now, by their own standards, they should not, right? He doesn't practice. I mean, he can do a whole wonderful, boring chain of going through Westlaw citations and laying out the elements. Well, I mean, you know, having the court lay out the elements for him and all of that stuff, and he can go through and do that. Lots of people can do that. Lawyers do that all the time. I do it when I'm having to do, like, the real work. What he can't do is get anybody to listen to him do that. Right? Like, no, because normal people don't want to hear a chain of citations typically. Trust me, I've been doing this show long enough to know that if I drop a chain of citations, even if it's written in the document, people start to get annoyed. Because they don't care. Like, just tell me about the freaking law a little bit. Right? That's what people want to know. Well, what many people want to know. So, there's Mike. What's Greg doing? Greg Doucette, you know, trying to recover from a failed a failed political campaign where he barely even showed up on the ballot. He's got 30,000 Twitter followers, although that number, it's kind of going up and down a lot. It's on a this trajectory. It's a sine wave trajectory. What's he doing? He doesn't get interaction because the guy floods his entire timeline with noise. But he's got a bunch of other uninteresting people watching right now, and they're reacting now. That's something he doesn't normally get. What are they doing? I don't know. I'm sure some of them are motivated, but, you know, again, it's pretty interesting when you start looking into these guys. What have they actually done? Some of them have practiced quite a bit of law. Hats off to them. That's great. That's great. Not everybody has, though. They kind of orbit around the people who have, like, approve me. I think they've got the same thing a lot of people run into when they go to, you know, a university or whatever, or even if they go into graduate school. They start to look at their educated colleagues, teachers, whatever. They start to look at them as something more than just a person, right? Like just a guy or a girl who happened to spend a lot of time and money studying one thing. So then they want and they crave that affirmation from them. Even if it's a peer, a lot of people do that. So, But yeah, I do get tired of it. And we're going to go through, I'm going to talk about the Dunford thing in the context of Ty's amended motion in just a little bit. As we get into that, I'm going to go through the Dunford thing because I think it's relevant. I think it's emblematic of the problem with law Twitter in some of this stuff. Okay, so let me start getting my documents pulled up here. Got the plaintiff's amended motion to continue. We did Funimation's supplemental brief yesterday. Hold on. Oh, I'm so out of sorts on my organization here. 1 second. Gotta make sure I get the right flipping documents. Letter to Judge Chupp, correspondence to Chupp. We should probably pull that one back up. Where is that? I still cannot believe this correspondence to Judge Chupp. Oh, so if you haven't seen it, Ty has amended his motion and included Lemoine's emails. that Lemoine left out. And so we're going to definitely talk about that. And we'll definitely talk about why he left those emails out. It's going to play into the whole thing, right? This plays into the whole bit here. What do we got? Oh, this is Monica and Toye's supplemental motion here. Okay, so this is pretty much... These things are going to take up a bunch of time. So I think we've got that. Okay, well, we'll start here. We'll start here in just a second. There's a whole bunch. Of course, there's a bunch going on. A flurry of activity going back and forth. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, God. All right. We're going to turn off all that crap. So we've got... Did you see Joe Rogan tweet you? No. That can't be right. Where is that? That's got to be a joke or a meme, I'm guessing. Hopefully it's someone else named Joe Rogan. That'd be good. But, no, I didn't. If you've got a link to it, that'd be great. But I'm guessing it's a joke. Poor Joe. He's probably, if he does, he'll probably be responding to some video where I made fun of him for calling out omoplatas all the time. Okay. So, here we go. Are you going to start directing Ty now, 4th year? I do have to, guys, I have to come clean with something. It's finally time. It's finally time to fess up. I've been misleading everybody. I set up the GoFundMe to pay Ty, right? Well, his firm. But then what I did was I lorded over them as the mastermind behind everything. I'm coming clean right now, live on YouTube, no filter, uncensored. Here we are. I planned everything and I direct everything that happens constantly. None of this, none of Ty's strategy is like basic strategy for attacking this stuff. Nobody on Earth could possibly have come up with these strategies and these plans. I have done everything about it. I am just a 4th year, and the 22-year attorney in the jurisdiction where this is actually taking place, what he has done, the senior partner of a law firm, has relinquished control of his own case that has his name and his firm's name on it. He's relinquished control to a 4th-year attorney 1,000 miles away, not licensed in his jurisdiction. Because what on earth could possibly go wrong with that? I mean, it's really a foolproof plan to do that. It would really be, it'd almost be silly not to have that be what's going on. So I've got to come clean and confess. Lemoine, I don't know how he saw through. I don't know how Lemoine saw through the haze of his own ragged breath. I don't know, but he did. He managed to figure that out. Why is this so slow? Oh my goodness. Let me try to get my chat window pulled up. So yeah, there you go. That's what's going on. And again, only the best takes, folks. Oh, did you guys see that the lawsuit by the DNC against Trump got dismissed? That's great. Hillary BTFO'd. I mean, it got dismissed against everybody. Why is this window so laggy? Anyway, okay. Oh, I bet this is why. Let me get rid of this. All right. Let's do a couple chats and then let's jump into the emails. And well, the emails are attached to Ty's amended pleading, so we'll check that out. Okay, so Blitzky says, "Hi Nick, If you have time in the future, I'd love to hear your takes on a couple lawsuits. Iron Maiden versus 3D Realms over Ion Maiden, and Gibson versus Dean and others over guitar body style trademarks. Ooh, both very interesting. I'll have to read up on them. I set up so many. I was like setting up shows and guests and all of that stuff, thinking that this stupid case would slow down, and it won't. It won't. The wheels won't come off this train. So I would love to get to some other subjects, but eventually, I promise, either I'll die or this lawsuit will slow down or something, or it'll end. I mean, eventually that's gonna happen. Wes Nile-chan says, coming soon, he's a Texas law student. She's an anthropomorphic flavivirus, a feverish summer fling that will leave you weak and gasping for breath. Narrated by Nick Rekieta, Summertime of Youth, the J. Dolph Lemoine story. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, I can't. You guys, the jokes. Like, I almost don't even. I don't even know. Let's I want to get this particular picture up on screen just for you guys when we switch over. Okay. We're not going to switch over for a minute here, but we will. Okay, the Texan 83 says it's polygamous. Christ, read a book. No, polygamy is multiple marriages. Oh yeah, who was it? DC, I think, said it's polyamorous, but like that's poly being multiple and amorous being loving, right? But are you really loving? Are you really? I feel like if you're married to someone and they're dating someone else, one of you is not getting the love, the amory from the poly. I feel like that's not actually amorous, but that's me. So maybe. Okay. Intimidator0108 says, hey Nick, currently racing the Tugmobile at the moment. Lamborghini lawsplaining Rekieta edition was a hit on Twitter and did get a win last night during my Twitch stream. Can't wait to see what you have for tonight's show. Well, I'm probably going to make fun of a bunch of people at some point. Actually, Tina says, as someone in academia, you are right about these people sucking up to those they see as having status. I've seen this with new grad students before they learn how to network. It's extremely annoying and counterproductive. Absolutely. It's hypergamy. Andrew Young says, for $75K. Oh, I didn't bring them downstairs. A friend sent me some Reaper peppers. Some Carolina Reaper pepper pods. I think I'm supposed to eat one or something. So maybe I should make that 100K goal. But we'll see. Maybe that's a possibility. A Reaper pepper. Any of you guys ever eaten one? Dried little pepper pod? Okay, and so Andrew Young says, for $75K, watch a highlight reel of your best rants from your videos. My favorite is EVS versus Youngbluth. 2 hours, 50 minutes, 40-second timestamp. Nick, I won't even say DAMN on stream. 6 months later, Malice, bitch, priceless. Love your work. Well, at the time, I didn't. I'm not going to eat them now. It's got to be for a special show. Like a Reaper pepper and Fireball whiskey show or something. It sounds terrible. Ryan Mercado says, at first I thought Mike was smart. Turns out was wrong. Mike's analysis of the amended motion reinforced that conclusion. I swear Mike looks like he's unfit, literally and figuratively, to practice law. Cabria Cousin says, it should be polyerosi. Dang, people mixing Greek and Latin, lol. Ooh. Oh, I handle heat pretty well. I don't know if I handle Reaper heat pretty well, but I've eaten Reaper sauces and salsas and ghost pepper wings and all of that stuff. The Texan 83 says, whatever. Guy probably listened to Typo Negative back in the day and thought that's legitimately how that works. My girlfriend's girlfriend. All right. I know the Reaper pepper is worse. That would be the idea. If it was nothing, wouldn't be any fun to eat it, right? Okay. Oh. Gotcha, son. I'm very Polish, but I grew up in Texas and my mom's from Louisiana. Believe me. I've been eating the spicy a long time. Okay, so let's get over to here. Where are we? Ha, buttons. Sorry. Here it is. You are horrible. Oh, can I briefly address this? Ken, yes, I got the package. Oh, that's a good idea. So Ken sent me a package with some moonshine in it. But it also has these. Talked about these. Pull these out. This is one of the knives that Ken has forged and crafted by hand, or well, hand and machine or whatever, for some sort of. We're gonna find a way to get these to generate money for the GoFundMe. I have to find the appropriate way to do that. Here's the first one. It's got a handmade leather sheath here. Very cool. With a belt clip and everything. If I could put this in right. That's what she said. So there's that one. And then we've got a bigger one. And I believe there is a bigger one on the way too. But I'm not 100% sure of that. So here's the other one. These are significant size knives, right? It's about, in man units, is about 3 inches, right? Kidding. It's a joke. Or wait, no, it's like 20. Isn't it backward? It's like 20 inches. So anyway, so here's the other knife. Again, with a handmade leather sheath. Very cool stuff. So as soon as I figure out how, which will be very soon, how to do this while complying with GoFundMe's stupid rules, we will find a way to use those to generate money for the GoFundMe. So very awesome. Ken, they're really great. Really great craftsmanship on them. A third one will be coming in a bit. Perfect. So, how well do those knives cut skin? Why don't we test it? Okay. So let me address this real quick. Isn't this amazing? Whoa. This is amazing to me. And here's what's amazing about it. People can go on Twitter. They can say any number of horrific things about you. I've never met any of these people. I don't care one bit about a single one of them. Don't care. If they died tomorrow, what does that mean to me? Nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't dance around that they were dead. I don't care. I don't know them. So, but people can sit and they can insult you constantly and call you. They can try and get you removed from your job. They can say that you're a failure at everything. But you say one joke asking a guy if his wife is still dating Steve, who he posted about dating, and suddenly you're horrible. I don't get it. What makes the one insult particularly worse than the other? I don't know. But if you can't handle bants on Twitter and you can't, why are you insulting people? Like Cat Whisperer here has not been the kindest. I don't care. It's not like it matters. These people don't know me. They don't know any of my work. So it doesn't bother me. The only thing that really bothers me is that they can't handle it when you make fun of them. And of course, that's why I do, right? Anyway, Thidius says, Nick, for 100K, you can drink Fireball, eat the Reaper Pepper, put lemon juice on eyes, and play the Battletoads. All of this at the same time because we love you. That sounds great. Good plan. So anyway, I just wanted to comment. We'll get into that when we get into the thread. But you know, that's just the way it goes. That's how these people are. But okay, so this is the filing. No, this is the filing. This is the one we're doing first. Right now, Ty's amended motion to continue hearing on TCPA motions to dismiss. Red Pill Journey says, we want the emails from Lemoine. Crack open an oatmeal cream pie and get this going. Gosh, I wish I had an oatmeal cream pie. Rude. Here it is. The Lemoine emails are in this document. All right. To the honorable judge of said court. Now notice, Ty has done this via motion. Lemoine, he decided to do it via correspondence. Which doesn't really make sense. Because what Lemoine is doing is opposing the motion, right? But he's not opposing the motion. He's not actually filing an opposition to the motion. So weird. Why do it this way? Just oppose the motion and put your points in there. Anyway, so here it is. Plaintiff Victor Mignana respectfully requests that the court continue the August 8th, 2019 hearing on defendant's motion to dismiss under the TCPA to August 29th, 2019. Facts. Defendant Funimation Productions LLC filed its motion to dismiss under the TCPA with nearly 150 pages of attachments on July 1st and set it for hearing on August 8th. Funimation filed a supplemental brief with 54 pages of attachments on July 29th, 2019. Defendants Rial and Toye filed their motion to dismiss with 500 pages of attachments on July 19th, 2019, and likewise set it for hearing on August 8th. On July 30th, 2019, defendants Rial and Toye filed a 28-page supplement to motion to dismiss. Defendant Markey filed her motion to dismiss with 88 pages of attachments on July 19th, 2019, and likewise set it for hearing on August 8th, 2019. In total, defendants have filed over 770 pages of attachments. Plaintiff asked defendants to continue the hearing for 3 weeks, to August 29th, to permit time to review the attachments, but defendants refused. Arguments and authorities. Motion to dismiss under the TCPA must be heard within 60 days after it has been served, unless the trial court's docket requires a later hearing, on a showing of good cause, or by the parties' agreement. In any event, within 90 days after service of the motion. Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Section 27.004. Thus, Funimation is required to have its motion heard no later than August 30th, 2019. Rial, Toye, and Markey no later than September 17th, 2019. Plaintiff's request to continue the hearing to defendant's motion is within the time frame required by the TCPA. Plaintiff needs additional time to review nearly 770 pages of material attached to defendant's motion and prepare a response to defendant's motions. Again, this is not an unreasonable request in any sense. There's no delay beyond any timelines. There's no agreement required to extend a deadline or anything like that. All of this can still be accomplished prior to the time. This is absolutely fine to ask for. In addition, Local Rule 3.06a states, motion practice, parties are directed to use all reasonable means to resolve pretrial disputes to avoid the necessity of judicial intervention. In compliance with this rule, plaintiff is granted a number of extensions of time to opposing counsel. See Exhibit A attached to this motion. This is the part where Mike Dumford lost his mind. We'll go into that in just a minute. Because we're gonna I guess we'll do a little twit and a little law school of Twit and coming out here. Where is it? Mike Dunford. Ugh. He's smart. He'll block me now. Oh God. Should be an interesting hearing tomorrow. Oh, you have no idea. Ugh. Oh my God. You can tell that whole clout thing from Mike, that approval. Look at this first tweet. Good afternoon, Threadnought. Good afternoon, Threadnought. We have a new filing. Oh, you can just hear it. Ugh. Okay. I'm not drunk already. I haven't drank anything. Too bad. Other than Milo's. Okay. So here we're going to go through Mike's babbling in just a minute on Twit and stuff. Okay, so but let's take a look at the motions ourselves first. See Exhibit A, attached to this motion. Defendants have refused to grant plaintiff the same consideration. See Exhibit B, attached to this motion. This matters. This matters. If you have granted extensions on multiple occasions and then you ask for one that's within time limits and not prejudicial in any way other than it's prejudicial because you have more time to prepare for what I'm doing, or for what you're doing, that's like, why aren't you granting it? Why aren't you granting it? Also, Mr. Lemoine's ex parte letter. And this Mike is really hung up on his use of ex parte here, but we'll take a look at that too. To the court, left out relevant communications between counsel. These communications are included in Exhibit B. Finally, plaintiff disagrees with opposing counsel that a verification is required for its motion for continuance. However, out of an abundance of caution, such a verification is attached to this amended motion. Plaintiff's motion is sought so that justice may be served and not for delay. Prayer. Wherefore, premises considered, plaintiff requests that the court reschedule the hearing on defendant's motion to dismiss from August 8th to August 29th and grant him such other and further relief to which he is titled at law or in equity. So there you go. Here's the verification. It's notarized. Good job. Good job. Certificate of correspondence and service. So Exhibit A. Exhibit A. These are former emails. These go back to June, right? Casey Eric. RE deposition dates. You're welcome. Also remember that I've agreed to extend your TCPA filing deadline accordingly. When we schedule Vic's deposition, I can sign a Rule 11 agreement to that effect. To Casey Eric. Casey, if you think you need more time, I'll agree to the 45-day extension. No problem. Let me know. That's the Rule 11 agreement regarding depositions and TCPA deadline. May 8th. This is from John Volney. Ty, thanks for taking my call today. I can accept service on behalf of Funimation. Do you want to prepare a Rule 11 agreement where I can accept service for Funimation as of a date certain? And then this looks like the response. Yep. Sure. It looks to me like the answer date would be June 3rd if you're deemed served this week. If that works for you, I'll prepare the Rule 11 agreement and set tomorrow as the date of service. If you want to push it to June 10th, I'm okay with that too. We can set the service date as May 14th in that case. So there you go. John says, hi, Ty. Are you going to send me a Rule 11 agreement RE service? I would prefer a May 14th service date. Thanks, John. So here we've got... here are the communications between Ty and Sean Lemoine, and then they'll have Sean's responses. So we'll go through this in just a second, or go through this again, just so we know what we're responding to on the timeline here. July 25th, 10:27 a.m. This is From Ty to Lemoine. Counsel, as you know, we filed a motion to strike evidence offered in support of Defendant Funimation's motion to dismiss. Assuming Rial/Toye's counsel opposes, we will file a similar motion to strike their evidence today or tomorrow. Hasn't been filed yet. I don't know. I would assume there's one coming, but there's a lot to go through. We haven't evaluated filing a motion to strike Markey's evidence, but if we do, they will likely be filed by Monday. Assuming Rial and Toye opposes, we also intend to file a motion for sanctions and to strike pleadings under TRCP 13, TCPRC 9, and or TCPRC 10. We haven't evaluated whether we will do the same regarding Markey, but if we do, those motions will likely be filed by Monday. The earliest date Jeff has, Jeff being the court calendar person, is August 8th. So we've set our motion to strike evidence offered in support of Defendant's Funimation motion to dismiss. We will set our other motions for the same time and date once they're filed. Since the court's ruling on these motions will obviously affect our response to the motion to dismiss, will you agree to reschedule the August 8th hearing on the motions to dismiss? I think a 3-week extension is all that would be required. If you aren't willing to agree to an extension of time, please let me know and I'll file a motion with the court and set a hearing. Ty. I don't want to read it in his voice. That's awful. So here is Lemoine's response to that on July 29th. So he responds 25th, 10:27 a.m., responds 4 days later. Mr. Beard, I only speak on behalf of Miss Rial and Miss Toye. First, you are simply incorrect about the law. Like, this isn't, he's not responding to this email. He's responding to the motion, right, in general. The first step, i.e., does the TCPA apply, is quite literally determined by your petition. You could strike ever exhibit attached by every defendant, and that would still be the law. Now, he quotes Hirsch versus Tatum. And now, this analysis is sound. Hirsch versus Tatum is authoritative on this. However, I don't know that that's in their... I don't know that that's in their motion. They attached a whole lot of evidence to their motion, so... Here we go. Hirsch versus Tatum, and the quote, the relevant quote is, indeed, it would be impossible to determine the basis of a legal action and thus the applicability of the act without considering the plaintiff's petition. As we have observed, the plaintiff's petition, as so often has been said, is the best and all sufficient evidence of the nature of the action. The basis of a legal action is not determined by defendant's admissions or denials, but by the plaintiff's allegations. Section 27.005B's requirement that a defendant moving for dismissal show the basis of a legal action, quote, by a preponderance of the evidence, must be read in harmony with Section 27.006A rather than in conflict. When it is clear from the plaintiff's pleadings that the action is covered by the act, the defendant need show no more. We disapprove the contrary statements in Pickens and the cases that have followed it. So there's a statement here, which again, this is fine. Okay. Second, your desire to move the hearing is a transparent attempt at delay. Well, Sean, you got him. You got him. Because by asking the court to delay a hearing, it is an attempt at delay. The question is whether the delay is permissible and reasonable or not. Like, just delaying something isn't inherently bad. Now, of course, I'm being pedantic. Jay Sean is trying to say that it's delay, undue delay, which would be, what the TCPA is aiming to avoid. However, I don't agree. While your fear of dismissal is certainly understandable, there is no legal basis to have separate hearings to determine the admissibility of evidence that may or may not impact other evidentiary issues. Look at what he's doing here. This is great. This is very, very top tier lawyering. Nor are we aware of any case where the trial court held a hearing on admissibility of evidence separate and apart from the actual hearing. Further, that kind of delay and multi-step hearing is contrary to the goal of a speedy dismissal of the anti-slap. All right, let's break this down. So to determine the admissibility of evidence that may or may not impact other evidentiary issues. So if we combine that with what he says here in Hirsch, Lemoine is saying all of the stuff that we attached isn't necessary to this step of the TCPA. So why are you trying to strike it? Right? We're not aware. Well, we're not aware. You don't have to be aware of anything. Doesn't really matter. Is there a case that says you don't do this? That's the question for the court. Is there a case that says no? We'll hear them together. And maybe Chup will want to hear them together. That's fine. Either way, if Chup wants to hear them together, they might need to reschedule just to get a longer slot than the 1 hour motion hearing that they have set currently. But yeah, this is the interesting part, isn't it? It's basically saying all that stuff we included doesn't matter. That's dangerous language there. Because if you include frivolous crap in your TCPA motion and lose, then you get to pay attorney's fees. So and let's not even talk about speedy dismissal of the anti-slap after they specifically delayed to get the deposition of Vic before filing their anti-slap. So that was looking for that speedy dismissal that they waited not only till the last day, but the last day of the extended timeline. What was it? 45-day extension, something like that. Third, I've responded to your threat of sanctions attached here too for everyone else to see. And I'll do Lemoine's voice when he talks about me, because I know he loves me. I know he loves me. On a final note, while I personally do not appreciate you taking tactical direction from a fourth-year attorney, if you want your motions to have the impact the fourth year so desperately desires, you probably should tell him not to broadcast what you're about to do on YouTube. Sean Lemoine. This is the weirdest sentence, and I'm flattered, Sean. But I'm married, and I am not a Stallings. I am not into polyamory, right? I'm a one-woman man and a zero-man man. The idea that Ty would take tactical direction from me, it sweetens the soul. It does. And here's why. Because I know now, I mean, I've known it for a while. I know definitively that Lemoine is fighting me and not Ty. To his detriment, he is fighting me. Why? I don't know. I'm not fighting him. I can't do anything to Lemoine. I can't file anything. I mean, if he tries to depose me, I'll be fighting him. But that whole thing went by the wayside, right? Apparently my deposition wasn't that important. Right, Lemoine? That deposition that you desperately needed, to have to file your TCPA, that one? What happened to that? Where'd that go? Why didn't you do that one? Was it because you were lying about needing my deposition to file your TCPA? I think it might be because J. Sean Lemoine of Wick Phillips is a liar, professionally lying to the court about needing my deposition. And the best part is the fatzos over at Law Twitter could not stop talking about how much. Have you noticed where that chatter went? They couldn't stop talking about how great it would be to depose me and how important it was and how he needed all the information. He had to have it. They just had to have it. How could they even possibly do their TCPA filing without knowing what I know through deposition? All of them sat there just gargling each other's nethers, just constantly orbiting around the proverbial snack tray, just begging for that to happen because it was such a smart move. And Lemoine dropped it. No one's heard anything of it. And Law Twitter, as they do, just shuffled on away. Shuffle over here. Shuffle over here. What deposition? What deposition? Oh, God. They forgot how important it was, I guess. Just tons and tons of Twitter activity about it. And then suddenly, poof. Kaiser Sosade. It's gone. It's gone. Now it must not be important. It was then, though. Because they're all smart. Right? It's not that they're sycophantically attaching themselves to Lemoine for all sorts of reasons. The reasons... You guys want to know a secret? Do you want to know why lawyers are broken people? I'll tell you a secret. They're a set of traits that make lawyers good at what they do. And that set of traits involves one very specific thing. They excessively they will needlessly and excessively cling to an argument. And they will doggedly fight for that argument no matter the cost of the fight. That's what makes them good advocates for people, right? If I will take your position, I will merge that into my mind as the correct position. I will do that for you, and then I will doggedly pursue it. I am an excellent advocate for you. I will zealously represent it. Now, it's all tempered by rules. What does Twitter not really have? They don't have any of the rules that would require you to, say, have candor with the forum, right? So you can actually go on Twitter and omit certain parts of your argument, or you can lie, frankly lie about what is good or bad, or the merits of the facts. You can lie about that stuff or omit it, however you want to couch it. I don't care how you want to couch it. And you can accuse me of this too. I'm sure people do. That's great. That's great. You can do that on Twitter. You can't do it as much in court, but you can a little bit, right? When you just leave out your own really, really good email that you sent that totally makes you look good. This is the problem with law Twitter. They will doggedly latch on to this position. They will not change it, especially because they've been challenged. They don't have any impetus to change it. And now they have an impetus in the opposite direction. Because if you guys who are laypersons, and if I, who am the worst attorney on earth, if we happen to be correct about something, that invalidates everything they think about their position. So that's where this comes from. Lemoine's got it, though, and he's got it bad. He's got it stuck in his head that I am somehow more involved in this. And it's great. I'll take it all day because I want to see him fail. And that's just my own perverse desire to see him fail. But Lemoine seems to have realized that deposing me is pointless. I think, and law Twitter just seems to have forgotten how committed they were to it. But you know, so doesn't matter. They didn't make those arguments, remember? Because now they're talking about they're talking about the meaning of ex parte, and that's very important. IT Weeb says, "Wait, does that mean he watches your streams and charges Soye and Monica hourly for it?" Oh, I hope so. I hope so, and I hope they're paying you. I hope they're paying you, Jay Sean. They should be. All right. So this is Ty's response. It says, Mr. Lemoine, motion sick contains about 500 pages of exhibits. Funimation's and Markey's motions contain another 200 plus exhibits. It seems that your argument is that the 700 pages 700 plus pages of exhibits in the defendant's motions are irrelevant to the TCPA analysis, right? Because he said that up here. Why would we address the admissibility if they don't matter? Is that a correct summary of your position? If they are irrelevant, as you seem to argue, and Mr. Volney seems to agree, then why not agree to strike them? And if so, does defendant's counsel agree to withdraw all of the exhibits? Also, it is unreasonable to dump 600 plus pages of material on us and then schedule 2 additional hearings within 13 business days. At least Mr. Volney gave us 5 weeks. Finally, your tactical advice is appreciated and will be given all of the consideration it deserves. So there you go. So this is from Sean Lemoine to Ty Beard. Let's see how Lemoine shakes out with this second email. Another one. Woodman Gaming says, tried a White Claw for the meme. It is LaCroix with not enough alcohol to do anything. Tastes like someone put something near the vat of seltzer and call it flavoring. 0 out of 10 need whiskey. Ah, man. That sucks. We need to meet up for whiskey, buddy. I gotta respond to you. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'll take that. Okay. So here's Lemoine's response. Mr. Beard, how the TCPA's evidentiary burdens function are straightforward. Look at this embarrassment. He cites his own blog. He cites his own blog. Jay Sean, your blog about the TCPA is not authoritative. It might be informative, but good God, it's his own blog. Step 1, does the TCPA apply? Movements, Miss Rial, Miss Toye, Funimation, Miss Markey, burden, which is satisfied by non-movements petition. See Hirsch versus Tatum. So the TCPA applies. Even though I don't know that any of them have sufficiently argued this position under Hirsch versus Tatum, we can assume that at hearing they will. Step 1.5, does the commercial speech exception apply? Not in play. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Step 2, can the non-movement meet each element of his claim? Your burden. And then step 3, can the movement establish each element of a valid defense? Our burden. So no one is saying the movement's evidence is irrelevant. Your briefing suggests that Funimation cannot meet their burden on step 1 because you incorrectly believe the evidence will all be stricken, which is legally incorrect per Hirsch. This isn't a legal argument. This is an English argument. This, which does not logically flow from this sentence. Okay? Because Hirsch is not discussing the admissibility of evidence or what will be stricken. It simply says, or I guess maybe they're saying it's legally incorrect because Funimation can meet their burden on step 1. But this is just worded very weird. Very weird here. Your briefing suggests Funimation cannot meet their burden on step 1 because you incorrectly believe the evidence will all be stricken, which is legally incorrect per Hirsch. See, this doesn't agree with this because. This should be taken out. This should maybe be its own parenthetical, or it should be separated by 2 commas. One of those 2 should happen. It's called an apposition or something like that. It should be removed from the sentence because the logical flow here is your briefing suggests Funimation cannot meet their burden in step 1, which is legally incorrect per Hirsch. That's a fine statement. But the because changes the phrase and makes it ugly. So anyway, bad job, Jay Sean. Bad job. Okay, so plaintiff's objections. So then he quotes plaintiff's objections to a motion to strike evidence offered in support of defendant Funimation's motion to dismiss at paragraph 1. Funimation's motion asks the court to dismiss plaintiff's claims under the Texas Citizens Participation Act, TCPA, Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Chapter 27. TCPA requires that Funimation show, by a preponderance of the evidence presented, that plaintiff's claims are based on, relate to, or in response to Funimation's exercise of the right to free speech of free speech to petition or of association. Texas Civil Practice and Remedy Code 27.005B. Under a preponderance of the evidence standard, the fact finder must determine whether the movement's version of the events is more likely than not true. See N.R.E. Lipsky. Hence, the admissibility of Funimation's evidence is a threshold question for the court. That's actually not an incorrect statement in any way. Because the preponderance of the evidence has to find that the movement's version of the events is more likely than not true. There you go. Like that's how it goes. It doesn't matter that here's the thing that Lemoine is like skirting around. The pleadings are evidence. The pleadings are evidence. Now, there's strong evidence of what it is, and the pleadings alone might be sufficient. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the evidence is, or it does mean that it's frivolous and it should be struck, but it doesn't mean that the rest of the evidence is irrelevant. Why did you put it in there if you met your burden? Every game played says, why does this smooth brain think that Ty is trying to strike to make the TCPA not apply? Wouldn't Ty try to strike so he can cripple their ability to argue an affirmative defense? Well, if both and, if Ty can make the case that their TCPA doesn't apply at all, then he beats the motion. Now, Lemoine filed a TCPA dismissal that shouldn't work, but he still filed it, right? Like, you still try. And they filed 29 affirmative defenses, some of which are so ludicrous as to be absolutely ridiculous. So, but you still file them, you still preserve them if you think you've got any shot at making it, even if it's narrow. But the point on this is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the TCPA, if they can make the TCPA not apply, great. If they can't make the TCPA not apply, the affirmative defense argument comes in full swing. Now they've got evidence for their affirmative defense that you want to strike. Okay, that's great. Lemoine's just ignoring that part. He's just ignoring it in general. Okay, so here we go. The court does not need to reach the movement's evidence in this particular case given plaintiff's pleadings until step 2 at the earliest. Okay, but they still need to reach the evidence at step 2. And what he's casually ignoring is that all of this happens in one hearing. Step 1, 1.5, 2, and 3 all happen on the moving papers and then the oral argument at the hearing. It's not like that they do, well, do we pass step 1? Okay, well, now we're going to have a hearing on step 2, and then now we're going to have a hearing on step 3. He's just failing to break that down. As to your argument about lack of time to prepare, plaintiff has 20 days you will have had to formulate a response, July 19th to August 8th. What is that? Okay. Plaintiff has 20 days you will have had. That is, of course, 1 day shy of the amount of notice you would get to respond to a Rule 166AC motion. Now, I don't know what that rule is off the top of my head. I think it's a summary judgment. 166A C Texas. Check that real quick. Yeah, summary judgment. That's summary judgment. Well, okay, but here's the thing. This isn't a summary judgment motion. Discovery isn't stayed in a summary judgment motion. All sorts of things are different about TCPA and summary judgment. And summary judgment, I mean, my goodness, they don't... Summary judgment on these defamation claims, and there's so many facts at issue, is silly. Anyway, if you are filing a motion for sanctions, that wholly undermines any assertion about prep time. A multi-page sanctions motion would indicate that rather than spend time responding to the ant slaps, you have spent the last 10 days working on a sanctions motion that is premature at best. Jay Sean, I'm sure you know all about premature things. But here you go. This doesn't make sense. Look, a multi-page sanction motion. Apparently, that motion takes the fictitious motion that hasn't been filed yet, all of your time over 10 days. You've spent working on that. You couldn't possibly have been working on anything else Just over 10 days you've spent working on the sanctions motion that you just mentioned in email. Why is premature bookended by commas? That's a good question. That's a good question. He should have like italicized it if he really wanted some effect. But you are free to file whatever you or your advisor, look, there it is again, want to file as long as our opposition is duly noted. Sean Lemoine. Oh wait, I'm supposed to talk in my voice when or in his voice when he talks about me. You are free to file whatever you or your advisor want to file as long as our opposition is duly noted. Noted. Very, very brief response from Ty there. This is my favorite closing line from Ty though. Your advice is appreciated and will be given all the consideration it deserves. Those are my favorite. But yeah. Free to file whatever you or your advisor want to file as long as our opposition is duly noted. I mean, I guess I want them to file a sanctions motion just because I want to see Jay Sean get sanctioned. I don't know if it'll happen or not. I just think it'd be funny. Funny if they got called on all of this. All right. So that's this thing. Now, I hate to do this to you. Add advisor to your Twitter. I hate to do this to you. We're going to pull up Mike's analysis. Now, see, this is how very cool people like Mike communicate. They go ahead and drop 400,000 tweets, right? This is how they do it. Oh, God, I hate lawyers. Good afternoon, hashtag Threadnought. We'll have a new filing for you in just a minute as soon as Dropbox starts cooperating with me again. It's, wait for it, an amended motion to continue filed by genius litigator Ty Beard. Okay, Dropbox having decided to like me again. Here we go. Well, at least someone does, Mike. This one's going to be very live. I haven't even skimmed the sucker yet. Guys, can I make the jokes? Am I going to have a one-liner after every joke? How often are you skimming the suckers, Mike? As you might recall, I may have suggested that there were perhaps a few, shall we say, issues of consistency with facts and reality in Ty's initial filing. There are basically two directions Ty could go with the amended. He could be smart, and this could be an expression of contrite contrition. That's redundant, Mike. Or he could double down. Place your bets, everyone. Place your bets. Last call. Please, please. Let's start, as is safest with Ty's filings, at the end with the prayer. This clearly hasn't changed. Dude, hit return once or twice and put the header on the same page as at least some of the text. Why? Why? And those of you who had double down, step up and collect your winnings, because this is exactly the same lie in exactly the same place as the first version of the motion. Plaintiff asked defendants to continue the hearing for 3 weeks to August 29th to permit time to review the attachments, but defendants refused. Well, yeah. That's not a lie. Your $10 bets yielded a healthy 10-cent return total, not each. God. Next paragraph looks basically identical to the last motion. Not seeing a lot of changes yet, but that's consistent with how he amended his petition. Now we get to a change. I haven't seen a change yet. That's consistent with how he didn't change the beginning of his other thing. Oh, there's one. Remember how when I talked to... No one remembers, Mike. When I talked about losing credibility with the judge is bad, lying to the judge is the easiest way to lose credibility. But Daddy... listen for the lack of awareness in Mike frickin' Dunford's tweet. This is embarrassing. Daddy, opposing counsel is a big meanie. Callouts are also on the list. Ty's not helping himself here. What's this? Looks kind of like this, doesn't it? Doesn't this look like opposing counsel's being a meanie? It's being mean to me. He's going to threaten to seek sanctions. Oh, excuse me. Prejudice. Significant prejudice to defendant should the court grant this continuance. Plaintiff's counsel regularly appears on YouTube to discuss the case and raise money for the GoFundMe campaign that continues to insulate plaintiff from paying legal fees. Plaintiff's counsel is being a big meanie. Where's the consistency, Mike? Where's the consistency, Mike? Consistency of cottage cheese doesn't count. That's your stomach. So apparently Ty's not helping himself here. Now, granted, I don't think this is not an insult, by the way. This is an observation. I'm pretty sure Mike Dunford has not only never appeared in front of a judge, but he's never drafted anything before a judge in his life. I may be wrong. Mike is free to correct me. I haven't been able to find it, but it's kind of hard to look up filings by attorney in Hawaii. Mike, have you ever, and this is not a criticism. I am not putting it out. I have never, ever represented myself as somebody who litigates cases all the time. Never. Now, some people might take that impression. I don't know why. I'm very honest about my history. And it's publicly available. You can go find it. So there's nothing here. I am not the most experienced lawyer on the planet, would never claim to be. But I've written correspondence to judges. I've written motions to judges. I've stood in front of judges and argued oral arguments in criminal and civil court and in family court several times. Has Mike ever done any of that? Maybe he has. I don't know. But he's got this wrong. He's got not this particular phrase. He's got his read on how lawyers and judges interact wrong. I don't care how many law Twitter people give him back pats or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The other thing he's got wrong, I believe, is how Chup has actually interacted with both of these parties to date. Because, and this is one of Law Twitter's problems, they're reading their bias into all of the encounters. For example, many of these people, Mike the Dumford included, believe without question, like Toye reading Pull, without question that Ty Beard was not standing up when he addressed the court in the hearing about confidentiality. Because the judge said a joke, said, you should be standing up here making this argument. Now, the judge was referring to Ty being senior partner of the law firm and having someone else make the argument. It wasn't an admonishment. It was jovial. It was a joke, because judges joke with counsel from time to time from the bench. But these rubes are so convinced that Ty has never been in a courtroom. And it's true. I taught Ty everything he needs to know about court. He's never been in court in his entire life. He couldn't spell court. He's never even heard of court before this case. Right? Just like the depositions. I had to teach him how to do depositions. All of that is 100% true, and that's definitely real. But because they're biased against Ty and because they're so convinced that he's dumb, They think that Ty has never been in court, so then they think that Ty must not have been standing, even though the opposite is the reality. Ty was standing up when he delivered that, when he stood up and said, Your Honor, may I address the court? And he's like, who are you? I figured you were the client because you're sitting at the table while your lawyer is arguing, right? No, I'm senior partner. I guess maybe I am the client. That's like a joke that he said. And then Chup comes back with, you should be up here making this argument as senior partner, not because you're sitting down. This is the problem with law Twitter and why dummies like Mike Dunford will never get this read right. They're reading all of these things as if Judge Chup hates Ty. So when Casey goes into a courtroom with Ty and authenticates the tweets, they think Judge Chup is mad at Ty for bringing Casey into the courtroom. They're ignoring, of course, the fact that Ty asked Casey to agree to authenticate the tweets prior to going into the courtroom. And Casey said, we don't need to do that. I think he authenticated them. I don't want to agree to that. I'm not going to do an agreement that says he authenticated them. And then the moment they get in the courtroom, Chup looks at Casey and says, well, did he authenticate the tweets? Well, I think we did. Okay, are you willing to put that on the record that he authenticated the tweets? Sure, Your Honor. That's the bitch up. That's what happened there. It's called the bitch up. You guys know the bitch up. This isn't a law term. This is a life term. Right? This is a life term. If you've got someone coming at you and then you step up to their challenge and then they suddenly can't back it up and they, that's the bitch up. You've seen it in your life. I know you have. But, so this is the problem. Ty is not helping himself here. I think you've got this read wrong, Mike. You've got the whole thing wrong because you're so wrapped up in your hug box. Because people on law Twitter have a predisposed, an a priori assumption about Ty, his competence, and what's going on. They read everything through that lens. I don't know if Lemoine has pissed off the judge yet. I don't know. I hope so, because I think it'll be funnier. If I were the judge, I'd be pissed off by Lemoine's filings and several other things that he's done. I'd certainly be pissed off about that correspondence. I would say, why don't you just file your opposition to the motion rather than a letter to me where you whine about opposing counsel? And why didn't you include your own emails? I want to see what you said. But here we go. So, moving, holy, Ty, no, please, Ty Beard, are you insane? Do you have any idea? Do you, Mike? I would wager Ty has been in court. Well, I mean, once would be infinitely more than Mike. But even if Mike has been in court, I can pretty much guarantee Ty's been in court a significant amount more, interacted with significantly more judges. I mean, Ty, Shaq meme, okay. There really aren't words for how stupid this was. Here's what he's focusing on. Also, Mr. Lemoine's ex parte letter, July 30th, 2019, to the court left out relevant communications between counsel. These communications are included in Exhibit B. Okay, now that I've stopped hitting my head on the desk and grabbed a bag of ice, let's look at what Ty said and why it was bad. But first, some corrections. Just up thread, I believe I might have said that lying to the judge was one of the easiest ways to lose credibility with the judge. I stand corrected. I not considered that accuse OC of engaging in an ex parte communication, opposing counsel, by filing a letter with the court that you were served with through ECF was even an option. That might be an easier way. Except, I mean, if we want to get technical with the definition, not the legal ramifications, it is an ex parte communication. No, it is ex parte. An ex parte communication is a thing. Ex parte communications are ethics violations if judges engage improperly in an ex parte communication. But an ex parte, let's just look up the freaking definition. Ex parte. On its face, here's what ex parte means. I'm going to pull it up for you. Okay. Ex parte, adjective and adverb, law. With respect to or in the interests of one side only or of an interested outside party. All right. So now that we've settled that, it is by definition an ex parte communication. It's of interest to only one side. Only one side of the emails were presented. It's a narrative that is given outside of the motion practice. Is it improper? This is the question. Is it improper? Probably not. I mean, I think it's bad form. I think he shouldn't have done it this way. I think he should have just filed his opposition to the motion or whatever. Why didn't he file his opposition to the motion? Why didn't he file his opposition to the motion? But either way, is it improper? Is an improper ex parte communication? No. Does Ty accuse him of that? No. Nowhere does he do it. He doesn't do it. He doesn't say it's an ex parte communication in violation of ethics rules or anything like that. He just says it's an ex parte letter. Left, and why is it ex parte? It's the second part of the sentence. Left out relevant communications between counsel. Mike, as I said, I know you are stupid. Don't be stupid. All right. So here we go. Earlier today, God, these people quote themselves. Oh, it's heinous. Earlier today, I said that the argument that a letter was filed with the court via ECF and served on opposing counsel was too dumb even for Ty. That too was obviously, I don't even know how this is possible, but it was wrong. I mean, it's got to be Nick or the Farms, right? It's not like there are a lot of options. This one's too dumb even for Ty. Okay, where was I, right? Mike, you might consider that you're the dumb person here. Why it was dumb to accuse Lemoine of engaging in ex parte communications. Notice what he did. He added communications to it. Now, you may think that ex parte letter is the same as ex parte communications, but it's not. Ex parte communications are specific. It's a term of art. It's a thing that exists in the law, and those ex parte communications, when permissible, are specific in their permissibility. And they can be the basis for overturning a judgment. Ex parte communications between the judge and parties are appealable. Now, an ex parte communication in violation of the rules would be like the judge hearing one party in chambers improperly. Again, sometimes a judge can have an ex parte communication. There are limited instances where this is proper. But that's not what Ty did. Mike is assuming that's what Ty did because Mike's a priori assumption is that Ty is wrong at everything. This is Mike's problem. It's myopia. That I have to explain this is, please let me be right even though I know it's wrong. Maximum 2019. They can't meme. Let's start with ex parte communications. Here's the TLDR. An ex parte communication is running and talking to the judge without the involvement of the other parties in the case. With certain exceptionally rare exceptions, it's an enormous no-no. See? Mike's right about that. Basically, in legal disputes in the USA, everything is done in the open. All cards are played face up. Notice how his threads, like these are well short of the character limit. This is frustrating. Any communication with the judge has to take place openly. So there are rules about communication, impartiality of the tribunal. This is 305. This is the lawyer's professional responsibility. It's not just the lawyer breaches the ethics complaint. It's also the judge. That's right. Ty basically just accused the judge of an ethical breach. Actually, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Not at all. Okay. Now, here is just how totally insanely stupid Ty was. How did Ty learn of the communication he claims was ex parte? Yep, through the official filing system. Again, it's not an ex parte communication. Notice what Mike has done. He has picked the thread and keeps pulling it. He keeps pulling the thread of his hideous sweater that he's wearing in this profile picture. Right? Look at that. Look at that. Oh, God. He's pulling on the thread because he thinks he's got it. It's like he's got the fish and he's pulling on it as hard as he can. But he's on the wrong thread. Literally, the only thing Ty Beard had to do to avoid beclowning himself on this one was sit for a moment and think to himself, Ty Beard, how did you receive this filing? Mike. He didn't say ex parte anyway. Oh, and he's going to step up his game and verify the motion just for shits and giggles because he's Ty. No, because opposing counsel said that it needed to be there, so he just went ahead and did it. Rather than argue about it. Why argue about the verification if you can just do it? This is more evidence. Mike, what's your... Argue in the alternative. Opposing counsel says this should be verified. Let me spend time and money fighting it, or in my amendment, I'll just verify it. So there's a sworn verification. Of course there is. If opposing counsel wants a sworn verification, okay, here's a sworn verification. What? Again, look what he's drawing attention to. Why? Because he doesn't know why this isn't a big deal. He's too dumb to understand. Oh, okay, on to the email exhibits. Exhibit A is fairly unremarkable. It's Ty and counsel professionally agreeing to extensions early in the proceedings. The radical shift in tone between then and now, of course, would lead one to wonder what changed to so piss off all the opposing counsel that all of them are opposing this particular extension. Oh, what? It's not in their favor, Mike. Listen to this. Okay, guys. In May, I'm going to offer every one of you a lollipop. And you can take it. I'll just give you a lollipop. And so all of you take the lollipop. Now in July, I'm going to come to you and say, hey, can I have a lollipop? And invariably, some of you will say no. Why? Because the burden of who's bearing the burden has completely shifted. One, I'm giving you the lollipop, so you can just take it. And then the other, I'm asking for a lollipop. Why are they doing it? It's adversarial, and why are they really doing it, though? Why are they really doing it, though? Like, I know Mike is too stupid to realize just how basic this is. I'm more and more convinced that Mike Dunford is the dumbest person on law Twitter. It's crazy. He's too dumb to realize just how basic this is. But let's theory craft the real reason here. What's the real reason? Because maybe they're worried about the motions to strike and how they're going to impact their case. Why are they filing all these Time mentions motions to strike. Suddenly they're supplementing everything. I start going through on a stream and tearing up, the potential hearsay. What they all say, Nick doesn't understand hearsay. Suddenly they're supplementing their motions with more affidavits, more things past their 60-day filing. May not even be able to supplement, but they're beyond the 60-day filing. Why? Probably just because, right? Maybe this case isn't so solid as people like Mike Dunford would have you believe. Exhibit B contains the emails relevant to this motion. Some of them anyway. The first one is one of the ones included with Lemoine's letter response to the initial motion. Second is a reply from Lemoine. Combination of the date, 4 days after the first, and the first you were simply incorrect about the law at the start leads me to believe there are other intermediate emails. I don't actually think there are. Again, I think Mike might be misunderstanding that Lemoine inexplicably is arguing on behalf of Funimation here. He's arguing on behalf of Funimation, which is the only motion that Ty has filed. And that becomes apparent if you just read the email, Mike. He goes through the TCPA stuff and he talks about how it doesn't apply to Funimation's stuff. He's responding to this. Now, you're giving Lemoine the benefit of the doubt that he has a logical English flow to his communications. He doesn't. If you haven't noticed, they're abysmally bad. Just reread the TCPA filing and find out that he can't even cite his own sources correctly. You do that if you were at all honest. God, that's the problem with these people. They're so dishonest. They're so dishonest. I don't know if they're trying to be, but if you look at Lemoine's TCPA and say anything other than, this is a hot mess, you can even agree that it's going to work. But if you say anything other than that, this is a messy filing. The footnotes don't actually match. Like the citations are improper in at least 5, if not 10 or more of the footnotes. That's a mess. That's a mess. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd certainly love to see Lemoine's response to that threat of sanctions. In fact, let's take a poll. Did Lemoine's response to the threat of sanctions include Nuts, Cleveland Browns letter, Arco versus Prestem, or other? None. Not a single thing. He didn't do anything about it. Finally, Lemoine is pretty damn savage. And he quotes the part about the fourth-year attorney. Mike is really happy whenever anybody makes fun of me, which is fine. I don't care. This got this much interaction because Popat retweeted it. So good job. Good job, Lemoine. Or good job, Mike. You finally got a little bit of those Popat cummies I know you so desperately want. Moving on to Beard's reply. This one seems to have been emailed a couple hours before the motion to continue is filed. In fairness to Beard, this does cast his dishonesty in a very slightly better light than I thought yesterday. Cast his dishonesty. Beard hasn't been dishonest. Your intentional misread of Beard has been dishonest. Also, it is unreasonable to dump 600 plus pages, blah, 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 blah. He does say that it is unreasonable to dump material on him, but he never explicitly says that he needs more time, and he still makes no mention of his earlier play to get the same amount of additional time for explicitly strategic reasons. You can have two reasons, Mike. You should know this. Cops can pull you over because you're black if you're speeding. You can actually hold two reasons for doing that. Cops can pull you over if you're black because you're black. They can explicitly pull you over because you're black if you're going 1 mile over the limit. So there can be strategic and practical reasons for this thing. That they can both exist. God. Cryptage says, hey, Nick, I went and got myself a Ridge wallet because you recommended it, and I gotta say, I absolutely love it. 10 out of 10, dude. Hey, awesome. I love mine, too. I have to do another one of those later this week. Insert clever name here says, if Lemoine thinks you're such an idiot advisor, why does he keep bringing you into his filings? He's obviously afraid of your mic drops. Yeah, problems. Lemoine, they can't decide if I'm the smartest or... I'm the worst lawyer, but I'm apparently the biggest threat to all of them. It's great. Okay, I missed these. Fluffy Tet says, was hoping you could plug an up-and-coming studio that has stood by and employed Vic, but also lost a major funder recently. FantasySoft could use some support. Patreon.com/FSE. Thank you, and keep making people mad. So yeah, guys, check out FantasySoft Entertainment on Patreon. They also, I believe, have a Kickstarter, but last I checked, that Kickstarter was not anywhere near its goal. And with Kickstarter, if you don't make the goal, you don't make it. Kov says, Ty, Texas Justice Beard, Ty lit on litigation beard. Ty mess with Vic, you get the dick beard. Ty gunslinger lawbringer beard. Ty battery powered boomer vision beard. Ty bring back dueling beard. And Ty anti-slap D's nuts beard. Nova Zero says, the one fear you should never rid yourself of in a professional environment is the fear that you are incompetent. It's what keeps you humble and ever pursuing professional growth. Do lawyers lack this? No, good ones don't. Do you remember what I said when all of this started with these law Twitter people out there? I said, don't disregard their arguments. Even Doucette, so good at lawyering that he literally went 300 grand into bankruptcy. Even Doucette is still a licensed attorney. He's still, he went to law school. He passed the bar, had clients, represented them, has experience, knows how to read the law. He's trained. Don't disregard them. I don't even disregard Mike Dunford. I don't disregard him. I read his stuff and I go, oh my God, how are you so wrong? But I don't disregard it. Why would you ever disregard these people? What is their argument always about me? You don't know what you're talking about. You're a terrible attorney, all this stuff. Notice the difference, right? Why is there a difference? Okay, King of Mercy says, Lemoine keeps giving you a plug on file. Tell him to link your channel. No kidding. Get Chup watching the show. Lemoine, do some work. Do some work. Okay, back to it. But he doesn't level with the defense. He doesn't say that he needs the time to prep the TCPA. He doesn't say the motion to strike thing was a bluff. And he doesn't make the effort to clear up the motion itself, his, clear up in the motion itself his, at absolute best, conflicting excuses. Oh, you think the motion to strike is a bluff? Again, I have to imagine Mike Dunford has never sat down in front of 500 pages of potentially inadmissible evidence and had to draft a motion response to strike all of it. I never have. I've sat down in front of multi-paged motions. I've never had to sit down in front of a 500-page motion or a 500-page attachment to a motion. I've never had to sit down. I've gone through police reports and had to strike parts of police reports or challenge their probable cause. It takes time, and police reports are only a page or two long. I've had to go through witness testimony because I do most of my appearances, right, are criminal work. That's what I like to do. It's more fun than civil stuff. Civil stuff sucks. But I've gone through, police reports and witness interviews and defendant interviews, and I've had to go and try to, find out what we could get tossed. It takes a ton of time, and these are short. 500 pages. Mike ever had to sit down with a real time constraint with 500 pages of exhibits and then have another, couple hundred pages of supplemental motion dropped on him? I don't think so. I don't think he ever has. Ty doesn't have to level with him. But anyway, he thinks the TCPA striking is a bluff. That's bold, Mike. Tell Lemoine. Here's what you should do, Mike. You should call Lemoine up and say, Ty is bluffing on striking the TCPA. Don't even worry about it. I, with my expert read, my lack of chin, have decided that Ty is bluffing on that. So don't even worry about it. Don't do that. If the situation yesterday appeared to be 10 out of 10 on the dishonesty court scale, this takes it at best to an 8. And that's viewing it in the best possible light. Viewed from a slightly more cynical light, Ty spent days arguing that he needed to have his motions heard first, changed his story just before filing, and didn't bother mentioning the prior discussion of the judge. Spent days? 2 emails. 2 emails. In any event, I'll dial back the language from blatant lie to obvious misrepresentation. Oh, Mike. Oh, and Ty, all the consideration it deserves line was very nearly a decent half witticism the first time you used it. Repeats, not so much. Moving on to the last email. Okay, this is good. Lemoine cites his own blog. Nicely done. I think that says it all, doesn't it? Doesn't that say it all? The rest is fairly straightforward. Another shot at Nick in passing. Minimal signs of clues from Ty. Minimal signs of clues from Ty. Should be an interesting hearing tomorrow. /Finn. Oh my god. All right. Nicely done. Source yourself. Oh, it would have been nicely done. Sourcing CHUP. Sourcing a CHUP decision. That would have been nicely done. That would have been excellent. Sourcing a decision where Lemoine won. Sourcing a decision that Lemoine is in. Anything like that would have been nicely done. Sourcing your blog is the opposite of nicely done. Okay, let's take one more quick gander at some things here. Here we go. So we have this one. Dunford chimes in again with top shelf stupidity, the unstoppable audacity of Dunfording Kruger. Here we go. So I just had these first couple tweets here. I didn't even go through the whole thread. Didn't care. So I post these two. Now, what does Mike respond? This is telling. So I say unstoppable audacity of Dunning-Kruger, right? Mike is punching above his weight here. Top shelf stupidity. Look at what he does. This is an argumentative tactic, and it's not a very good one. What's remotely ex parte about something filed with the court and served on all parties? Where did I identify that the ex parte portion, which is, four tweets down in the thread, is the focus of me calling Mike stupid? Where did I do that? I mean, it is an ex parte letter. It's not an ex parte communication as defined in the rules or in or as not defined, but as alluded to in case law and in the professional responsibility rules. It's not. I didn't say it was. Mike, your entire read is stupid. All of it. All of it is dumb. All of it is bad. So then here's the best part. Sorry. Deflection. This isn't deflection. I'm flat out calling Mike stupid. Why do I have to answer his question? It's a straw man. It's a straw man. He has decided the issue that he wants answered and ignored the rest of his stuff. I don't really care that he takes issue with Ty saying ex parte. It's certainly not an ex parte communication under the rules of professional conduct. Now, if you're reading it as Ty is accusing him of misconduct, that's your impetus, and that's fine. I don't think Ty is. He's just saying it's an ex parte letter because it left out relevant communications. That's stated right there. But this is what I want to get to. And cowardice. Now, A. Stallings. Whew, don't want to talk about cowardice with A. Stallings. Wife's still dating that Steve guy? My spouse. Listen to this response. This is my favorite thing ever. My spouse doesn't date anyone named Steve. You shouldn't rely on 6 with wrong info in it. I don't know what 6 is. What is 6 with wrong info? Does he mean docs? So how did it feel having to leave that bank job to go back to school when they caught you dipping your hand in the till? Your daddy had to spend some influence on that one. This is so great. Dad, if you're watching, did you know you had the influence to get me into law school? That's great. My dad with all the influence in the world. You guys all know his name. He's named my dad. He's so influential. I wasn't working at a bank. Stallings. I was working at a brokerage institution. I wasn't dipping my hand in the till because I couldn't dip a hand in a till. There wasn't a till. It's a brokerage institution. I worked in brokerage. They do have a credit union that is attached to the brokerage institution. They primarily sold life insurance, actually. It's Thrivent Financial. I worked in their brokerage operations department. And when they said that my position could no longer telecommute and that I was welcome to come back working downtown Minneapolis, 2 hours away from where I had a home, I said, nah, that's cool, bro. So there you go. I don't know what he's talking about with that one. But the interesting thing is, if you dip your hand in the till, you know, that's like a crime. That would have to be reported to the law school admissions council. That'd have to be reported to the bar. When you take the bar, you have to report like every crime that you've been accused of. It's just speeding tickets, buddy. So anyway, okay, and then the hilarity of that so yeah, the laughability of that accusation is hilarious. I boomered the type. There's a typo here. Who does your wife date then? I'm genuinely curious because his spouse doesn't date anyone named Steve. So who does she date? Wonder if he said. Oh, look at this. Learn how to actually dox and you might find out. Let's put it out there. Stallings is a big fan of doxing. Long history of loving doxing. By the way, if you happen to see this cat lady, that guy, Stallings, that you're allying with, that's a huge piece of shit. I know he's on your team, so you don't even care. This guy sucks. This guy's a nasty human. So there you go. And I'm not accusing you. I'm asking you a question. Did it touch a nerve? A guy like you who does his tough guy act on the YouTube channel should be a lot more chill. Wait a minute. A guy who does a tough guy act should be more chill? Shouldn't I maintain the act? That doesn't logically follow, does it? Let's see. Look at how much this pisses people off. Oh, this is Cat Whisperer, Cat Lady. She's the one who put up the "you are horrible," but she deleted it. That's great. Thank you, Full Metal Lewdness, whoever you are. That makes me happy. You are a bigoted pig whose attacks on the polyamorous have no place in the 21st century. Go back to your backwards fever swamp religious sewer and get off Twitter. Oh, okay. So anyway, no, I've never stolen anything in my life. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so anyway, so that's that. But this is the point. Like, look at this. All of these responses. They want me to answer this question. Why? Why do they want me to answer this question of what's ex parte about it? It's not my claim, Mike, or any of Law Twitter. But look at what they, man, look at them. Look at them hovering around. This guy, this chick, this guy. Well, I don't know about this guy. This guy, this guy. By the way, MD McCullough might be the only legitimate attorney on Law Twitter. So good job, MD McCullough. You might be the only legitimate guy out there who actually does stuff. Squiddy, Catherine Tewson. Notice none of them answer her question. K Chen, I don't think this guy's a lawyer. Isn't he an Uber driver? Certified internet angel. Oh God. Ex parte gavel. So you're not going to answer the very simple and direct question? Not surprising. No, it's not my assertion. That sounds like a cop-out. Answer the question. If it's so stupid, it should be obvious and easy to answer, right? It's not my assertion. Anyway, so you're going to answer the question? Nah. Again, why would I? But look at it. Look at how many of them. They're waiting. They're waiting. They're so thirsty. They want the answer. Look at all of this. It's all of them. The same people. The same people. Right here. This weird dude, chick, I don't even know what this is. I don't know what that is. Oh, God. They all want it. They all want it. Very shameful display. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. So that's that's Ty's filing. The Lemoine stuff is in here. I was gonna compare and contrast them, but we went through these yesterday. Lemoine left out the relevant communications. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if there were other communications involved there. I have no idea. I have not seen the communications between Ty and Lemoine. So what I've seen is everything that's in this stuff right here. Everything in here. Same as you guys. So, whether Mike is right about that, about there being some secret other communication. What was it? Ty sent his email on the 25th. 25th is probably... 25th is a Thursday. So he's surprised that Lemoine waits until Monday the 29th to respond. Lemoine could have just been out on the 26th. And then that's a weekend. And then there's a Monday. There's nothing actually nefarious about that. But, you know. Mike doesn't do anything. So who knows? Okay, Tyler Warner says, let me guess your dad's name is Steve and that's why he's mad. No. I think my dad's on Twitter. I don't know if anybody's found him yet. I don't know. I don't know. My dad probably would want me to direct people so he can make fun of him. He can make fun of me or whatever. But, let's see. I'm trying to see if he's on here. I know he's on Twitter, but I don't know if anybody has found him. I wonder what his Twitter handle even is. Oh well. It doesn't matter. But no, the idea that my dad would have influence over a law school is, God, it makes me, it warms the cockles, right? It warms the cockles. Because that's great. I'll tell him. We'll have a good laugh on that tomorrow. Okay, let's check out the GoFundMe. All right. I love GoFundMe, by the way. I love them so much. They have, by refunding everything and pissing off everybody, They got people to go ahead and recontribute their initial contributions, but GoFundMe has basically completely shut down contributions over the last couple days. It's very nice. They've killed all the goodwill. I'm really thankful to GoFundMe for doing that. In fact, I think I'm gonna send an email to GoFundMe after this, and just thank them for all of the goodwill that they flushed down the toilet like absolute morons. I think I'll do that. It's great. It's at $235,490, which is great. Thank you guys for continuing to donate. We've got Adam Stinnett, Michelle Moore, Moyashi II, Anonymous, Natalie Braithwaite, Lindsay Morera, Anonymous, Nikki Benton, Avery Andrews, and Antoine Allen. Thank you all for your donations. They are very much appreciated. I really do like that. Again, all of my issues with GoFundMe are limited to their exceptional response, and the absolute ridiculous position that they took. But yeah, I will definitely. I'm gonna send them an email, just a nice thank you. Again, why are so many people allergic to money? I don't understand. They're allergic to money. All right, let's do this last thing. So this is defendant Monica Rial and Ronald Toye's supplement to the motion to dismiss. In here, they have their Section 230 argument, so we can actually take a look at what their argument is. Get your dad on the show sometime. Hell, if he knows Drexel. Of course he knows Drexel. Drexel and I have been friends since high school. My dad knows Drexel very well. 3 of you mad lads could shoot, and we would get good stories, I'm sure. I don't know if my dad would fit in with Drexel on a stream. Maybe my dad will come on a show one time. I don't know. We'll have to see. June 5th, 800 Evil Bunny not refunded, so they aren't consistent. Oh, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Okay. Okay, let's move on here. So defendants Monica Rial and Ronald Toye supplement to motion to dismiss. Blah, 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 blah. Supplemental relevant factual background. Now, these supplements to their motion are not necessarily timely. I assume Ty and Bullock will be attacking them for attempting to supplement their motion beyond the 60-day window, right? Because you have 60 days to do your filing, and you should prepare the entirety of your filing. You should do that. If you don't do that, it might be prejudicial to the plaintiff, and you have to ask why you didn't do it. Okay. Moving defendants incorporate and adopt their motion to dismiss as if included in its entirety. Moving defendants supplement their relevant factual background to include the following. At a convention in 2015, Mignogna attempted to lure 2 sisters to his hotel room for sex. Lure 2 women to his hotel room for sex. Hey, you want to come to my hotel room? Cool. Hey, you want to throw down? No? Cool. Lured. Supplement to Section 2F of the motion to dismiss. Elizabeth and Teresa Yosts, met Mignogna in 2013 when both of the Yosts were 19 years old. So, of legal age. Affidavit of Elizabeth Yost and Teresa Yost. Over the years, Mignogna emailed with the young women and gave them his personal cell phone number. For their part, the Yosts appreciated the attention Mignogna provided them, since it was surprising that a famous voice actor remembered them from convention to convention and made time to talk with them. Now, what's interesting is, I'm guessing they're trying to spin this as something that Vic doesn't do for all sorts of people. Man, I hope they try and I bet Vic could produce 1,000 emails that he has sent to men, women, boys, girls, parents, sisters, brothers out there, all sorts of people. That is something that is surprising, that a famous voice actor would remember them from convention to convention. I have seen personally several accounts posted on the GoFundMe. Maybe I'll send a note to Ty with some of the relevant links to those. Of people who said, I was amazed that Vic remembered me at a convention 2 years after I met him one time. I was amazed by this. Vic does this for so many people. And of course, they're going to take something nice and spin it into something awful because they're awful people. On July 11th, 2015 at Anime BluesCon, and by the way, the Yost twins. Let's talk a little bit about the Yost twins. I have heard that the Yost twins like to sidle up to voice actors and see how far the voice actors will go with them. They like to play coy and just kind of, oh, we're just so dumb, la 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 la. And they like to play these types of games where they go up to the point where something might happen, and then they're like, tee-hee, I had no idea what was going on, tee-hee. Might I say that the Yost twins themselves have a little bit of a reputation. But that's just me hearing it from someone in the industry who has interacted with the Yost twins. That's just me hearing that. So, but far be it from me to tell consenting adults what they can and can't do. There's nothing wrong with the Yost twins flirting with voice actors up to the point where they might think they're going to have sex. And then going, oh, I had no idea. There's nothing wrong with them actually doing that. Okay? Not a single thing. They're adults. They can flirt with whoever they want. They can kiss Norman Reedus on the face or whatever. They can do all of that stuff. That's fine. But it's interesting, isn't it? Sure is interesting. And I think that it was surprising that a famous voice actor remembered them from convention to convention and made time to talk with them. I think that might be a lie for the Yost twins, if I had to guess. On July 11th, 2015 at Anime BluesCon, an annual anime convention held in Memphis, Tennessee, Mignogna sent a text to the Yost sisters, asking them to meet him in his hotel room because he had grown weary of dealing with fans and autographs. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. The Yosts agreed, not perceiving any ulterior motives and believing other voice actors would be present. Bullshit! Oh, yeah. That's what happened. Never in history has that line been true. Absolute bogus. Absolutely bogus. What? Leave Norman Reedus alone? Why would I leave Norman Reedus alone? Why would I do that? I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Norman Reedus. Right? It's not him. I said the Yost twins kissed him on the face. I mean, it's not like there's a picture or anything. Good. Right? Not like there's a picture of them kissing Norman Reedus somewhere. On. I mean, that would be silly. Oh my goodness. I gotta find it. Spoiler, there's a picture. Just have to find it real quick. Where are we? Oh, we're almost there. Almost there. Come on. Where is it? Oh my goodness. What? Ah. I don't know where the picture is. Dang it. No. No. I must have the wrong person. I'm gonna guess it's on Kiwi Farms. If I had to make a gamble. Nope, that's not what I want. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Hold on just a second. I think I have it here. Do I not have it? Where did it go? I'll find it somewhere. Maybe I'll tweet it out. Either way, it doesn't matter, right? Kissing him without consent. Is it in the Yoast thing? I mean, never mind that the Yoast actually worked for Toye and lived with Toye. Ugh. Oh, God. Where is it? I mean, it's there, but I don't see it. Oh, God. Why? Anyway, I'm not gonna... If someone can DM it to me, I'll post it on stream. It doesn't matter. I'm wasting time here. I'm wasting time. Anyway, long story short, there's a picture of them both kissing Norman Reedus on the cheek when he's like 50 years old. So, that's great. Good job. Great times. All right, so so back to the Yost sisters. Asking them to meet him after an exchange of pleasantries, the topic turned to where the other voice actors were. Mignogna explained they were at a public striptease show that he considered disgusting. But then Mignogna told them that he wanted them to strip for him, which he specifically denied. The Yosts were shocked, but Mignogna pressed forward, telling the young women that he intended to have sex with both of them that night. Despite their discomfort, he then asked to kiss them on the lips. The Yosts rebuffed him, explaining that they did not expect this from a man 30 years their senior. And supposedly a Christian man engaged to be married to Michelle Specht. The sisters' refusal and mention of his age and engagement threw Mignogna into a rage. Notice it, just a convenient rage. Every time anything happens, he's in a rage. In such a rage that he never hits women or forces them into sexual intercourse. He's always in a rage. By this time, both women were fearful for their safety. Frustrated and angry, Mignogna finally let the Yosts leave. He's so frustrated and mad, he let them go. But he tried one last time to coax them into sex. Before he let them leave, Mignogna ignored the tears and prior rejections, grabbed each woman by the face with both of his hands, who apparently both of them did nothing to resist, and forcibly kissed each of them on the lips. Like The audacity, right? The absolute audacity. Oh, here we go. Here you go. The absolute audacity of this situation is insane. I don't have a twin. I do have a sibling. And if I were in the room with someone and they were forcibly kissing my sibling, I would do something other than stand there and be forcibly kissed myself right after. Right? I don't know about you. You'll notice this weird thing with all of Vic's victims. They're all so powerless to move, to say no, to say anything, to do anything. They're all of them, universally helpless. That Michelle chick, Robin Michelle Blankenship, helpless. Monica Rial, a big girl in her own right, helpless. A bigger girl than Vic, probably. Helpless, utterly paralyzed. Yosts, paralyzed as he kissed one and then the other. Kara Edwards, paralyzed. Crying with a shower on in the bathroom. Mary Reese, hearing about all of this, paralyzed. Not only could none of them do anything to stop him, none of them, after the events, could bring themselves to report him. Nobody. Ever. Not one. Not one. He's batting 1,000 on finding people who will not say no, not fight back, not resist, not run, not kick him in the testicles, and then not report it. He bats 1,000. He is like the Hannibal Lecter of predators. He's so damn good at it that he knows that they won't even say anything for a decade. His ability to do this is absolutely shocking. It's weird, guys. It's weird. Okay, let's move on. Neither woman consented to this, and both were understandably shocked, frightened, and embarrassed. The Yosts agreed between themselves to never speak of what Mignogna had done to them because they felt ashamed. Sure they did. Sure they did. But in January 2019, as the firestorm of criticism burned online, they finally shared their story with Tammy Denbo and the moving defendants. I think that was the opposite order. Why'd you write it in that order, Jay Sean? Conventions cancel Mignogna's appearances without any influence from the moving defendants. On January 30th, Anime Milwaukee announced that it had reached a mutual agreement to cancel Mignogna's previously announced appearance. Anime Milwaukee's decision was not influenced by conduct or communications by moving defendants, and that's the McManus affidavit. We'll have to look at that. Comic-Con is an annual convention held in Birmingham, Alabama. January 31st, Comic-Con chose to cancel its previous invitation to Mignogna. Comic-Con's decision was not influenced by conduct or communications of moving defendants. Oh, sure it wasn't. That's the Lenzner affidavit. I'll have to check those out in a minute. I mean, except for the fact that he was fired, right? Moving defendants are immune from claims based on alleged retweeting pursuant to the Communications Decency Act. Supplement to Section 3 of the motion to dismiss. Paragraphs 15 to 16 of the petition assert that moving defendants defame plaintiff by retweeting posts created by other Twitter users. Pursuant to the CDA, moving defendants are immune from any assertions that they committed defamation or other torts by retweeting statements created by another person through Twitter. I don't think they can win on this as an affirmative defense. Maybe they can. I don't think they should. I'll tell you why in a second. Section 230C1 of the CDA provides that no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another content provider. Where the CDA applies, republication of the defamation is not a viable claim even under state-based defamation laws. That's in Milo versus Martin, Texas Appeals Court in Beaumont. To date, we find no Texas case addressing whether sections 578 and 581 of the Restatement Second of Torts represent a correct statement of defamation law in Texas. Nevertheless, regardless of the status of this state's defamation law that applies to republishers, deciding whether to treat an internet service provider's republication of a statement is largely controlled by Section 230, a federal statute that overrides the traditional treatment of publishers, distributors, and speakers under statutory and common law. Here's the thing. Well, let's finish their section and then I'll talk about it. Twitter undoubtedly falls within the protection of an interactive computer service protected by the CDA. The definition of user means what it says. And here, plaintiff has pleaded that Ms. Rial is a user of Twitter and bases his claims in part and in particular the viral firestorm on such use. Pursuant to the CDA, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as a publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Is he leaving something out of that? Okay. Okay, no, he's not leaving anything out of that one. Okay, I'm making sure. It's treatment of publisher or speaker. Shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. So an information content provider means any person or entity that is responsible in whole or in part for the creation or development of information provided through the internet or any other interactive computer service. All right, so back to, where do we go here? Oh my goodness. Back to this. The Act defines interactive computer service as any information service, that provides or enables computer access by multiple users to a computer server, including specifically a service or system that provides access to the internet. And it defines information content provider as any person or entity that is responsible in whole or in part for the creation or development of information provided through the internet or any other interactive computer service. The Act enforces its mandate in 230E3, which provides that no cause of action may be brought and no liability may be imposed under any state or local law that is inconsistent with this section. Read together, these provisions provide immunity from common law defamation claims for persons who republish the work of other persons through internet-based methodologies such as websites, blogs, and internet postings. Moving defendants are not liable for retweeting any other content creator's tweets, despite plaintiffs' vague pleadings that intend to blur the line between moving defendants' actions and the alleged defamatory actions of other Twitter users and authors of the defamatory articles. Given plaintiffs' assertions, albeit without any evidence or rational justification, that these retweets caused the accusations against plaintiff to go viral, causation becomes almost impossible for plaintiff to prove with the immunity shield in place. All right, here's the problem with that. There's one thing if Mike Dunford retweets something. Like let's put this into a dichotomy. Mike Dunford retweets something and I retweet the exact same thing. No commentary added. No commentary added. Mike Dunford and Nick Rekieta retweet the exact same tweet. Does it mean the same thing? I'll wait. Hell, Nick Rekieta and Asterios Kokonos retweet the same tweet. Does it mean the same thing? No. Why? How about I retweet Han Leia's original tweet today versus Monica Rial retweeting Han Leia's tweet January 22nd? Does it mean the same thing? No. Of course not. I retweet the same thing as Ron Toye or Shane Holmberg. Does it mean the same thing? No. Of course not. There's a whole world of context behind a retweet. There's a whole bunch of context behind it. And that can't be just ignored. So I would argue, and it might be a losing argument, it's the reality. It's absolutely the reality. But it might not win in court yet today. But it's the reality that two different users retweeting things have different meanings. The same thing. Two different users can retweet the exact same thing and they will get a different meaning out of each one. Absolutely. If Monica Rial and I retweet the same thing with no commentary added, you take a different meaning from each one. And the timing matters and everything about it matters. So, should they win on that? I don't think they should, mainly because this has to be viewed in favor of the non-moving party. Now, should they ultimately prevail in this argument? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. But it's silly to suggest that if two people retweet the same thing, it has the exact same meaning. It does not. It does not. And certainly the temporal relationship to a controversy makes the retweeting far more interesting. Plaintiff's defamation claims fail because he consented to or invited comments. Plaintiff claims that moving defendants defamed him are barred because Mignogna consented to and or invited the alleged defamatory statements. Quote, if the publication of which the plaintiff complains was consented to, authorized, invited, or procured by the plaintiff, he cannot recover for injuries sustained by reason of that publication. The doctrine of consent or invited comment is an absolute privilege against allegations of defamation, even if such statements can be shown to be made with malice. That's quoting Smith versus Hawley. When plaintiff has consented to a publication, the defendant is absolutely privileged to make it, even if it proves to be defamatory. Here, Mignogna clearly invited and consented to comments about his behavior, and moving defendants were privileged in their communications on Twitter. Mignogna released several statements online in order to spin the narrative in his favor. I think two. Mignogna specifically instructed his fans to counter what he called lies and negativity. You know what, guys? I'm going to ask you to go out there. I'm going to ask you, there's a bunch of people lying about me. I'm going to ask you to go out there and just be positive. Counter those lies with positivity and good stories about me. And what I'm actually doing is inviting everybody, the entire world, to defame me. That's what I've done with that. Just so you know, that's the big argument here, is that by saying, look, guys, a lot of people are out there trying to get attention, making tweets, saying negative things, telling lies. Please go out, tweet some positive stories. And by that, I mean, I want everyone on earth to defame me. That's what I want. This is absolutely ridiculous. Mignogna specifically refers to allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or pedophilia as completely and utterly false. They're false. That means defame me. Listen to the lunacy of the argument. You can't defend yourself. Lay down and die. Lay down and die. If you defend yourself, you're a public figure and you can do nothing legally. Lay down and die like a proper corpse. Mignogna even took time out of a convention appearance on February 2nd to cast doubt on what he had learned during Sony's investigation of his conduct. Good. 39C YouTube. Mignogna voluntarily speaking about rumors and allegations made against him. While Mignogna now undoubtedly regrets inviting continued public commentary. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what, guys? Actually, it was all going to stop by February 2nd. If only Mignogna hadn't tweeted and said, I didn't do any of this. Otherwise, it was done. That's what's going on here. This continuing, the lunacy, this argument that if someone just hangs themselves and dies quietly in Minecraft, that no one will talk about them anymore after they're dead. Guys, they're still talking about Stan Lee. They're still saying Stan Lee did all sorts of nasty things to like his caretakers. Stan Lee is dead. He's worm food. And they're still going after him. Today. But it's Vic's tweet saying, this is all a lie. That's what caused him to keep going. It's not the fact that some woman with an excavator for a frickin' chin is out actively, an affiant in this case is actively engaging in interference with his contracts as loudly and publicly as possible. But it's because Vic tweeted twice in January and spoke at one convention in February. That's what caused it. That's why Jennifer Lynn Cunt is out there right now trying to get him canceled and permanently removed from venues in a state she doesn't go to, at conventions she doesn't work at and won't attend. That's why. Not because these people are absolutely unhinged lunatics. Not because they're so broken inside that they have nothing else to do in their lives but go out and destroy someone out of sheer hatred because he won't sign their gay fan art or whatever dumb thing it is, that they're willing to lie about their attendance to TekoshoCon, about their role at TekoshoCon, about the fact that he wasn't banned at TekoshoCon. Jennifer Lynn Hunt, you're a liar. You lied under oath several times. You admitted to lying on Twitter, and then you deleted the tweets. You lying liar. You're a data analyst who lies. Oh my God. I hope your company is fine with hiring liars, because you've lied under oath publicly over and over. You've contradicted your own lies several times. You've admitted to reading notes. You've admitted to all sorts of stuff. And you may not have even been at TekoshoCon 2010 because you were in school, but did you lie about that? You lying sack of shit. These people lie constantly. Absolutely constantly lie about it. And they will continue the lie until you are dead in the ground. Does anybody think this bored hag has anything to look forward to in her entire life other than trying to slag Vic until the day he dies? Of course not. She's a loveless sack of useless genes that no one wants to reproduce with because, oh my God, the hideous offspring that would come out of that infested vagina is something no one wants to see. Ever. Ever. Yet, we're supposed to believe that it's two tweets saying this is all false. And one discussion at one convention saying this is false. That is why these people are going after Vic. Oh, sure. That's it. That's the reason. Oh, yeah. And Jennifer Lynn Hunt. adult kissing minors forcibly without their consent on stage hunt. Jennifer, adult kissing minors in front of people forcibly on the mouth, open mouth kissing in front of people hunt, which every single dumb idiot on Law Twitter has defended. All of them. All of them defended this. Greg Doucette, penis head Greg Doucette, he has defended this. I believe Dunford defended this. All of them. They're all fine with that. Notice what they're fine with. The exact things they accuse other people of. But they're not biased, though. Automata says, the twins say when approached in 2015, they assumed Vic had no interest in adults due to the 30-year age gap. That's incongruous with an ongoing uproar of believed pedophile rumors. They also use now believe is inappropriate. Kilo Bravo 777 says, you hear about Manjaw. She could have been in Japan during TechoCon 2010. First, switching her years from 2007 to 2010 to match Prager affidavit. Someone's being inconsistent. Wink, wink. Yep, she is, isn't she? It's fine, though. I mean, I'd say it's fine because Manjaw isn't a white male, but I'm not so sure that's true. I'm not so sure that's true. All right, moving defendants incorporate arguments and evidence of co-defendants. Moving defendants adopt by reference the arguments made in the evidence submitted in support of the TCPA motions filed by co-defendant Funimation Productions and by co-defendant Jamie Markey. Specifically, the evidence submitted by Funimation and Markey further establishes that Mignogna is a public figure and that moving defendants' tweets as set forth in the petition were about a matter of public concern and were clear exercise of moving defendants' freedom of speech and freedom of association. The evidence and arguments submitted by Funimation and Markey further establish that Mignogna cannot provide clear and specific evidence of the elements of any of his claims against moving defendants, that Mignogna is libel proof, and that the communications made by defendants in this matter are substantially true and not made with actual malice. Well, hopefully Lemoine will be libel proof by the end of this. For these reasons, the moving defendants respectfully request the court grant an order as follows: dismissal of all the plaintiff's claims against moving defendants, awarding of attorney's fees, hearing in which plaintiff is present for cross-examination for determination of an appropriate sanction, and such other and further relief to which the moving defendants may be justly entitled. Lemoine. Where are we at? We're at 1:30. Oh my goodness. Exhibit T. Elizabeth Yost, Washington County King. Before me, blah, blah. My name is Elizabeth Yost. I'm over 18. My sister Teresa Yost and I have been going to anime conventions since 2012. One of the reasons I attended anime conventions was to meet voice actors. Why? Why, Elizabeth? I first met Victor Mignogna in February 2013 while we were attending Comic-Con in Birmingham, Alabama. I was a freshman in college and 19 years old at the time. As my sister and I continued to attend various conventions, I noticed that Mignogna would recognize and remember us. I did not think he was making a move on me at these times because he was at least 30 years older than me, and I simply thought we'd become con friends. When Mignogna would see my sister and me at a convention, we would always try to get long hugs. We would always get long hugs and kisses on the cheek. He would offer to let us cut in autograph lines as if we were VIP fans, but we would decline. I'm not sure I believe this at all, but maybe. Instead, after waiting our turn, he would give us extra attention and time at his table. I've witnessed Mignogna grope, kiss, and touch fans on many occasions in a manner that I now believe is inappropriate. Now believe. Mignogna, that's the first problem with this affidavit. Mignogna kissed so many fans in his lines that initially we thought this was normal. Oh my God! Thank you! Of course you thought it was normal. Mignogna's not the only person who does it. All of them do, including the lying sacks of trash that are defendants. As a fan that looked up to Mignogna, I excused his touchiness and kisses as acceptable behavior because it made me feel important, and I thought he was my friend. Unfortunately, I have since realized I was being incredibly naive. Oh, this is good. Good job. Good job saying that the entire time you believed it was fine. Only now, later, you think it's bad. We found Mignana's Vic the Wop email address on his fan website. And eventually, my sister and I began exchanging emails with Mignana about holiday greetings and upcoming conventions we were attending in which he was guesting. We initiated contact with Vic. We did. Not Vic. Vic didn't initiate contact with them. Recognized him, said hi, then they reached out, right? We only told him so that he could expect to see us at his scheduled con events. We never planned specific meetings. Our emails were friendly, but not intimate or in-depth. In the summer of 2015, notice at the time they met, they were 19 in 2013, right? February 2013, they're 19 years old. 2015, they're now 21. My sister and I went to Anime BluesCon in Memphis, Tennessee. Did Lemoine... Wait a minute. He met them when they were both 19 years old. Wow. Okay. So they're 21 here. Anime BluesCon in Memphis, Tennessee was a smaller convention, and Mignana was one of the few star guests. By this time, I felt we were good friends with him, and since we had other voice actor friends, this friendship was not unusual. My sister and I bumped into Mignana at the lobby at check-in before the con officially started. He said hello, and all of us had a small conversation. During this conversation, my sister and I said we would see him at his events that weekend, and we'd like to hang out when he wasn't busy. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In the affidavit, does the 21-year-old woman telling the adult man that they want to hang out, is that what just happened? Is that what just happened? Hey, oh, it'd be great if we could, like, hang out when you're not busy. Because they're friends. Because they're friends with the voice actor. Because they met him at cons, like, sometimes, and maybe, like, emailed him. Are we kidding here? We're going to pretend that this is... Mignana had already given us his personal phone number at a previous convention, which, of course, they were 20 years old at the time. Colossal Con 2014 in Sandusky, Ohio. But we had used it minimally to communicate in the past and agreed to text when he was available. Later, we saw him in autograph lines in just brief moments throughout the convention. On the Saturday of Anime BluesCon, Mignana sent a text message apologizing that he had not been able to see us, and if we were free, he would like to get together and catch up. He said he needed a break from being around fans that recognize him, so he invited us to his hotel room, which they asked for first. Which they asked for first. Initially, I did not feel alarmed or nervous about Mignana's invitation because my sister and I have had a meal with him and have hung out with him and other voice actors present. And because you literally asked him to hang out. You asked. As stated before, I also thought Mignana was a friend despite our age gap, as this is something common in the con world. Oh yeah. By the way, of you guys attending conventions in the con world, let me take a quick poll. 1, are you friends with the voice actors? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Are you friends who would expect to text and hang out with the voice actor? Is that common in the con world? That you would just go ahead and 1 for yes, 2 for no. Tell me about it. I mean, are we kidding? Are we kidding? Oh, yeah. I did not think Mignana was trying to hit on us because he was as old as our father. And I knew he was engaged to Michelle Specht. Therefore, my sister and I went to his hotel room. Holy shit. Christ. La la la. Oh, you're engaged to a woman. We'll go to your hotel room. That's probably fine. Oh my God. For the record, if you're a married woman or engaged woman, either one, or in a committed relationship, or a woman, and you invite me alone to your hotel room, and you're not like, I mean, a serious friend that I know that my wife would trust implicitly. And the list, it's a short list of people. I actually can't think of many, I mean, maybe a couple who, if they said, hey, you want to come up to, can you meet with me in a private place? Not alone in public. No, we're not even talking the Pence rule here. We're talking, can you meet with me in a private room with a bed? If I am not 10,000% sure that my wife would be okay with that, I say, that's a little weird. That's just a bit weird. But is this like 20-year-old woman privilege? Is that what this is? Oh, it's fine. I know he's engaged, so it's probably fine, right? Even if it's completely platonic, you don't think that the other side of that engagement might look at that situation and go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why do you have these young women in your room? Oh my God. Anyway. Therefore, my sister and I went to his hotel room. When we arrived at Mignana's hotel room, he gave us his usual long hugs and kisses on the cheek to greet us. During the first part of the visit, nothing awkward happened. He casually asked us how we were and how the convention was going. We asked him the same. While we were visiting, I asked why Mignana was not hanging out with the other voice actors, such as Todd Haberkorn. That's weird. And what they might be up to at the con. Mignana said that Todd was at a cosplay striptease show. As he was explaining, I observed that he had a very condescending tone about the striptease show and said he did not want to go because it was disgusting. However, he then proceeded to tell us that he would rather see us doing a striptease show for him instead. Again, I believe this zero. Striptease is disgusting. Will you strip for me? It was instant. I was instantly caught off guard. Usually you're not caught off guard over time. Shocked and very uncomfortable. I think both my sister and I responded with silence to that particular comment because we could not believe what he had just said. You think you responded with silence? After that statement, the conversation became more uncomfortable, and Mignana kept making more advances towards us. Why don't you leave? I'm trying to noodle through this. I'm in a woman's hotel room. Let's say I'm single. I'm in Monica Rial's hotel room. Monica says, I'd love to see you strip. And I go, nah, fam. And actually, this got weird just now. I'm gonna peace out. Right now. I'm not gonna wait for the next weirder moment. I'm just gonna walk like an adult over to the door and I'm gonna open it. And if you want to tell me that I'm a big, strong man, have you seen Monica Rial? I'm pretty sure That outmasses me considerably. Either way, I'm going to at least go, all right, this is strange. I'm going to walk away now. I've actually done stuff like this, not in the same situation, but I've been blissfully unaware of advances from the opposite gender. I went to college, and the moment I realized, okay, wait a minute, this is not where I want to be, right? This is different than I thought it was. I'm gonna look. I'm not into that. Let's go. Cool. I'm out. After that statement, the conversation became more uncomfortable, and Mignogna kept making more advances toward us. Told us that he really liked us, and he believed we liked him too. Listen to this response. I asked what his intentions were in telling us about these feelings, and he said it was his hope and intention to have sexual relations with both of us. Listen, I like you. Hey, girl, I love you. I respect you. What are your intentions with telling us this? Notice how awkward this is. As if this was drafted by someone who has never had a sexual encounter in their life. But, like, what? This isn't how humans interact. This isn't what happened. Even if it's substantially similar to what happened, I can guarantee you that they did not say, what are your intentions with telling us these feelings? No, because people don't do that. People don't do that. All right. As he was saying these things, my sister and I tried to redirect the conversation as much as possible. I think you're pretty. I want to sleep with you. Y'all into banging. Can we get down? Is this a hoedown, throwdown? Let's redirect the conversation to an astute dissection of the anime you voice acted, please. What? Leave! To the women. This is a PSA to the women out there. Walk out the door! If any of this is true, and you're not into it, but were they almost into it? Were they into it up until reality? If any of this is true, the moment he says, I'd like you to just do a striptease, and you're like, whoa, walk out the door and say, you know what? This is weird. We'll text you later. Peace. Walk out the door. Public service announcement to any women who might see this ever. If a guy ever says, I'd love to see you strip, don't wait for the follow-up question unless you want to strip. Now, if you do, power to you. Great. Get down, do your thing. You get him, girl. You get him. But if you don't, if you're not into that, if you're not into the guy, walk out. Because I'll tell you, let me just be polite to you. At the point that he says, I'd like it if you strip for me, he no longer cares. I'll tell you this on behalf of all men. If we ever ask you to strip out of your clothes, whatever you say next other than no or okay, we don't care. We don't want to discuss Descartes. We don't want to discuss Voltaire. We're not into your Kant theories. Nothing else. Nope, we don't want to dissect a Tarantino film. We don't want to talk about what's going on at the con tomorrow. I don't want to pull out my calendar. The moment I have asked you to strip out of your clothes, it's either I'm into it or I'm not into it. If you're not into it, that's fine. Please just see the door. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Misread the room. Great. Come on. Come on. I thought that if I could talk him out of trying to make advances on us, he would leave us alone and let us leave the hotel room. Has he prevented you from leaving the hotel room at this point? Oh, man. Okay, I guess I'll pull this up. This is what someone sent me. Yost Twins tweeted out, or sent, what is this? I'm a big old liar. I will answer all responses in the morning. Well, that's weird. I don't know what that means. That's, okay. I don't know what that is. Someone just sent that to me. So, do with what you will. What's up, Justin Y? Welcome to it, buddy. Haven't seen your blue name lately. All right. Mignana then expressed his desire to kiss us on the lips. Probably because you're still in the room. And asked if that made us uncomfortable. I told him that it did and indicated that we were only 22 years old. Oh, so they turned 22 even. And he was at least 50, which was around our father's age. So how could he even think we would want to do sexual things with him? He became visibly angry and began ranting about age being just a number, and it's how you feel, not how you look, and how good he looked for his age. Oh yeah, I believe that. I believe this 100%. He definitely did this. As Mignana continued to talk, I became scared that he would get violent with us. I knew he was engaged to Michelle Specht at the time, so I brought up his engagement in order to make him feel guilty about his advances and play on his self-proclaimed Christian values in order to calm him down. Okay. Assuming arguendo that any of this is anything other than a ridiculous fiction. Okay. Ladies, how do I put this? If a man is propositioning you to cheat on his fiance, hypothetically, and then you rebuff his advances, and he gets visibly angry, and you fear violence. This is a multi-step process here. Don't, under any circumstances, attempt to guilt a man out of violence when he's angry. This is a practical matter, okay? Like, first of all, I can't even fathom how you get to this point. Like, it's so far out of my realm of experience, and it's so ridiculous on its face that I can't believe that it happened. But assuming that you have received a proposition from a man to cheat on his fiance, you have said no, and you're in fear of his anger and violence, the last thing on the menu is, I'm gonna guilt you now. I'm gonna guilt you. This is so weird. And I'm not shaming the Yost twins for their actions. I'm saying that this story is so ridiculous that I can't buy a single word of it. That's the problem with this story. Nothing that they're saying is normal human interaction. And I can't believe that anyone would think that this is the proper thing to do. even in a moment of stress, that they're like, you know what? I think he might start hitting us and raping us soon. Here's what I'll do. I'll remind him that he's engaged to someone else. That seems like a great plan. Let's do that. Wait, what? What? However, he responded with, she's not here, so she doesn't matter. I was genuinely shocked, considering how he publicly acclaims his Christian faith. Mignogna emphasized how he thought our acceptance of his invitation to his hotel room meant he would finally get to kiss us and whatever else may have followed. That, you know, what's interesting is that this line might actually be true because that's a reasonable thought. This person, let's frame it. Let's frame it. You say, I've seen you several times. You started emailing me. You started emailing me. I've seen you several times. When I meet you at the beginning of the con, you say, hey, if you're not doing anything later, you know, you want to hang out, we'd love to hang out. And then I say, oh, cool. And then I text you and say, hey, you know, that hangout thing, why don't you come up to my hotel room? Of course you think you've got a foot in the door at that point. My sister and I felt uncomfortable, scared, and we were tearing up. I think Mignogna finally realized that nothing of a sexual nature would occur and asked if it was okay to say goodbye to us and a kiss. I thought Mignogna meant a kiss on the cheek like he usually does at the conventions, and I already told him that I was not okay with a kiss on the lips. I was scared of what he may do since we were in his hotel room and there's two of you, and was trying to keep the peace after everything that had happened, so I did not respond. Without giving him any explicit permission to do so, he came up to me, cupped his hands on either side of my face, and forcibly kissed me on the lips. I froze and then watched Mignogna do the same thing to my sister. I saw she was also frozen in shock. Neither I nor my sister consented to being kissed by Mignogna. We'd simply stood there silent. I was so terrified and helpless, and I did not know what to do. Shortly after, we left horrified with what had just happened. By the time we left Mignogna's hotel room, it was approximately 10:30 to 11 p.m. My sister and I managed to hold it together until reaching the elevator, but instantly broke into tears when the doors closed. We felt ashamed and mortified, so we vowed to never tell anyone. We went back to the convention space filled with people, wanting to be in public and too scared to be alone. Wait a minute. It's 11 p.m. They cry for a while, so maybe it's 11:05. And they went back to the convention space filled with people? What convention? How late is this convention open? I don't buy it. Too scared to be alone. Since the 2015 convention in Memphis, I've tried to avoid running into Mignogna at all future conventions. 2017, my sister and I attended A-Con, a convention in Fort Worth, Texas. There we stood at the end of another voice actor's autograph line. Only a few tables over from where Mignogna was finishing his own autographs and preparing to leave. After 2 years, we hoped he would not recognize nor interact with us, but eventually Mignogna did walk over and, in a sarcastic, passive-aggressive, and rude tone, told us how great it was to see us and how nice it was that we did not say hello to him. Again, he made us very uncomfortable. Nope. I don't believe that for a moment. They may have perceived it that way. I just don't believe it. Since Anime BluesCon in 2015, there have been several occasions when Mignogna's name was brought up in conversation with friends and fellow anime fans. Hearsay. I heard more and more stories about Mignogna's bad reputation, harassment of women from other con guest attendees and staff members. Hearsay. These discussions helped me realize what was happening with my sister and me was not a one-time offense. In January 2019, my sister and I shared our story with Tammy Denbo when Sony conducted the investigation. Notice how this is worded passively. Passive wording tends to imply a lie. Especially because I can almost promise that this affidavit was written or edited by one of the lawyers. We contacted Tammy Denbo. we contacted so-and-so. That's not it. It's passive. My sister and I shared our story with Tammy Dembo when Sony conducted the investigation into allegations of Mignana's sexual harassment and assault. So when they investigated, when his employer investigated his non-employment related, because he's just an independent contractor, interaction with non-employees and non-contractors of Funimation. There you go. We also told Monica Rial and Ronald Toye in January 2019 about the events in this affidavit in connection with Sony's investigation. Did you do that before or after you told Dembo? Wouldn't that be interesting to know? Before or after Dembo? It's written after Dembo, but I bet it was before, wasn't it? If only Monica had turned over the emails. Man, I hope that discovery abuse doesn't show up. I hope that doesn't show up in any motions or an oral argument or anything. Okay, so here's Teresa Yost. This is going to be the same thing. Sister Elizabeth and I, blah, blah, blah. Comic-Con. Meet voice actors because we were big fans of the anime and the characters they portrayed. Originally, I wanted to meet Mignana because he was known as a famous voice actor. That's cute. Notice what they're doing here. He's a public figure. It said so in the affidavit. As we continued to attend various conventions over the years, Mignana began to recognize us as repeat guests and would continue to remember us. May not have remembered our names initially, but I could tell he would remember our faces. My sister and I thought he wanted to be friends since he paid special attention to us and remembered us. When I would see Mignana, he would give me long hugs and kisses on the cheek. Very affectionate with many females at conventions, regardless of their underage appearances or not. Their underage appearances. I witnessed Mignana give long hugs and kisses on the cheek to young fans often and felt that this was his normal behavior. We found Mignana's email address on his website, and eventually my sister and I began exchanging emails about holiday greetings and upcoming conventions we were attending at which he was guesting. We only ever notified him so that he could expect to see us in his lines. We never did we prearrange meetings. I recall our emails were friendly but not intimate or in-depth. It's like verbatim. This is verbatim copies. Why is it verbatim copies? Because it was written or edited by a lawyer, not by them. Summer of 2015, they got their first real six string, right? My sister and I went to Anime BluesCon in Memphis, unaccompanied by other con-going friends like we normally did. On the first day of the convention, my sister and I bumped into Mignana in the lobby where attendees checked into the convention, said hello, and all of us had a small conversation. During the conversation, my sister and I said that we would see him again, his events that weekend. We'd like to hang out when he wasn't busy. Already given us his personal phone number. This is, again, the same paragraph. Saturday of Anime BluesCon, Mignana sent a text asking us to hang out with him. Said he didn't want to be around people that would recognize him, as he had been in panels and signed autographs for fans all day. So he invited us to his hotel room. When we arrived, he gave us hugs and kisses on the cheek to greet us, something he did every time we met him. While we were visiting in Mignana's hotel room, my sister asked where the other voice actors were that evening. Now notice, again, sent a text asking us to hang out with him. Didn't want to be around people that would recognize him, as he had been in panels and signing autographs for fans all day. So he invited us to his hotel room. Do you have the text? Sugar, do you have the text? Or did you delete it too? But either way, he doesn't want to be around people who would recognize him. Where are all the other voice actors? I said I didn't want to be around people who recognize me. While we were visiting, where all the voice actors were, they were attending a strip show with cosplayers. As he was explaining where Todd Habercorn was in particular that night, I observed that he had a very condescending tone about the striptease show and said he did not want to go because it was disgusting. However, was this a con-related striptease? Maybe I understand. However, he then proceeded to tell us that he would rather see us doing a striptease show for him instead. This statement was shocking to me. After Mignana suggested that he wanted us to strip for him, the conversation got increasingly scarier. Kept making more advances towards us. He implied that he wanted to have sexual relations with me and my sister. As he was saying this, my sister and I tried to deflect those advances and reject Mignana. We reminded Mignana that we're only 22. We're only consenting adults. And that he was over 50. You're only an adult man. So how could an adult man even think of having sex with an adult woman? or that we would want to have sex with him. Are they ageist? How rude. In response, he stated that age is just a number. Well, it depends on the child, really, I guess, right? Sargon. He then became defensive and told us about how in shape, attractive he was in order to combat the fact that he was much older than we were. Mignana continued to grow visibly upset as we tried to explain how inappropriate he was being. Why are you trying to... They're trying to woman-splain sexual encounters? Like, what is happening here? Look, you're being inappropriate. Like, oh, dude. I don't understand this weird... This makes sense on Twitter. Right? We were explaining to him how inappropriate he was being. That's a Twitter argument or a Twitter discussion. You're being inappropriate. This ain't it, Chief. Yikes. That's a big yikes from me. That's Twitter language. Someone is in, like, nah, fam. You don't have to explain anything. You said no. Now leave. I was worried he would become violent with us. I knew he was engaged to a spec at the time. We brought up his engagement, and we brought up his engagement in order to make him feel guilty about his advances. We thought, man, they work as a collective unit. We thought that if we reminded him of his self-spoken Christian values, he would realize that was wrong and calm down. However, he responded with, she's not here, so she doesn't matter. I felt incredibly uncomfortable, and I could see my sister was uncomfortable as well. So I think Mignana finally realized that nothing sexual would happen between us. He asked if it was okay to say goodbye to us. I was scared, but thought this would be his usual kiss on a cheek and would allow us to get out of the room faster. Without giving him permission to do so, he came up to my sister, cupped his hands on either side of her face, and forcibly kissed her. I froze in fear. Mignana walked over to me, cupped his hands on either side of my face, and forcibly kissed me. In both instances, forcibly is to be defined as without welcome as opposed to violent. If a lawyer didn't write that line, I'll eat a Reaper pepper. Maybe I'll eat two. If a lawyer did not write, in both instances, forcibly is defined as is to be defined as without welcome as opposed to violent. They wouldn't want to accuse him of a violent kiss. Why is that? I think I brought it up on a stream before, didn't I? Remember if I said, do they mean forcibly as in like rough? Or do they mean forcibly as in he forced himself upon them? I was so terrified and frozen, I did not know what to do. Mignana is a huge voice acting star with a lot of power. Power over con sluts? What power does he have? And I use con sluts in the most lovingly Lemoine of ways. I don't know anything about these girls, but the lunacy of this. He's a voice acting star with lots of power. Power over what? You're just attendees at a con. You're $95 to Comic-Con or whatever. What con is this? Anime Blues Fest. You're $95. That's literally all you are. You're $95. That's it. What is this? Lots of power. Was he going to impact your career in the I attend conventions for money that I pay out business? Oh my God. Is he going to call the Tuttle Group? Were you employed with the Tuttle Group at the time? Is he going to call the Tuttle Group and get you fired with all of his power? What is this? Where are we here? We were trapped in his hotel room. Listen, I'm going to call Funimation right now. No more episodes of Full Metal Alchemist for the Yost twins. They rebuffed my advances. What are we... This is so stupid. Who wrote that? Perez? Did you write this again, Perez? I know you wrote Manjaw's absolute disaster of an affidavit, Andrea. But did you write this one too? Because this is dumb. This is flat out dumb. I was scared about what he would do, but Mignana did not make any further advances, and we left the room. Good night. I was scared, but he didn't do anything. Oh. By the time we left, it was approximately 10:30 to 11. My sister and I broke down in tears when we got onto the elevator. I felt so violated that a man who I naively considered a friend would do something so disgusting. I mean, how many men do you know? Like, to be honest here. How many men do you know? Who do you hang around? Like, who do you hang around? Not that every man ever is a horn dog, but you're 22 at conventions going around. Honestly, like, dude, do they not know? Do they not know that guys hang around them because there's this off chance that they might decide to randomly get naked and have sex with the guy? Like, do they not know that? Do we have to tell them? Listen, Yosts. There's a bunch of men, many of the men in your life are hanging around you with at least the lingering thought. At least. I mean, I know you hung around Toye, so you may not be accustomed to men. There's at least a lingering thought. If this is just a friend, right? Just a friend, you're hanging out, you and Guy. It's at least a lingering thought that maybe you'll sleep with him at some point. I'm not saying that he's gonna try and do anything to you. Not saying it's nefarious. I'm not even saying he's not your friend. But I'm just telling you that all of your guy friends, almost without exception, are hanging around you with the thought in the back of their mind that you might sleep with them at some point while you're hanging out. It's just there. And it's not an expectation, it's a readiness. Let's describe it as a readiness. That if you decide randomly to strip down, he'll go, all right. That's just how it is. It's nothing intentional. He's not degrading you or anything like that. He may not even be trying for that. But it's there. Just a thing. And that you don't understand this is silly. But let me add to that. If you and your twin sister are at all, and I mean at all, flirty or more friendly with any guy than a normal woman would be with said guy, you are twins. I don't care that you're not, a lot of people have criticized your looks. I don't care about that. You are two twins. If you are flirty with a guy at the same time, I promise you, in the back of his mind, is maybe they'll both strip down and sleep with me. It's just there. It's a meme. It goes back a long time. It's just a thing. All right? I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow that people are going to take those words as something that they're not. Whatever. What do you do about it, right? What do you do about it? Women, this is a public service announcement. Absolutely. And if any of the soy-filled sacks of trash in your life are going to lie and be like, no, I don't think that, run from them. Buy mace for the Mike Dunfords of the world or whatever. Okay? Just please stock up on all the mace you can for the guy who says, for the guy who you are friends with, right? Who's hanging out with you by himself. For the guy who says no to, you ever thinking about sleeping with me? The guy who says, no, why would I do that? I'm the white knight. Mace him immediately and leave. You're in danger, ma'am. You are in danger at that point. Like, if the guy says, no, that's disgusting, mace him and run as fast as you can. I'm guessing by the stature of that person that you can outrun him, so you should be fine. Oh my God. I feel like I have to educate the world on simple things. My sister and I were both too scared to be alone for fear of mentally reliving the incident. Sorry. I'm not supposed to laugh at that. I'm not. Bad lawyer. So we went back to the convention in an area with a lot of people to be in a public place. We swore not to tell anyone. We'll never tell a soul. Because we were so embarrassed and felt this was our fault for going to meet him at his hotel room. Oh my God. They just put it in there. It was your fault in some comparative fault. Go with it. Go with it. If this were a negligence action, you are absolutely at least 40 to 50%, if not higher, at fault. You asked to hang out with him. You initiated the contact. All the signs seemed so obvious after the fact, and shame quickly consumed us. Whoa. After the convention, my sister and I went home, and Mignana emailed us both apologizing for what he had done. Oh, do you have that apology? I mean, obviously they don't, right? Obviously they don't have that apology. Mignana asked if we could still be friends with him. We responded together in a friendly manner, but we have not continued to associate with him. My sister and I still attend conventions, but try our best to avoid Mignana as much as possible. Oh, it's fine. We'll still be friends. God, I wonder if that email exists somewhere. Why isn't it in here? Why isn't it in here? And yes, to Nick's adult-like beard, I did miss your chat earlier. Sorry, I was in the moment. And I thought your chat might assault me. Nick's adult-like beard says, yo, long time, now I'ma change my name. Section 230 will protect her from comments in her thread. Like big tech is protected. Her tweets, retweets, and replies aren't protected. Drink for the stash, Sancho'd. Don't be a puss. Yeah, that 230 thing is absolutely insane. All right. Okay. In January 2019, my sister and I shared our story with Tammy Dembo, and Sony conducted the investigation of the allegations of Mignana's sexual harassment and assault. We also told Monica Rial and Rontoya in January 2019 about the events with Mignana in connection with Sony's investigation. This concludes my affidavit testimony. Well, we got 2 more. Oh my God. 5 pages. 5 pages. Eagle Loan. Thank you. It says 2015 Memphis Comic Expo hours. Saturday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. VIP ticket holders will have early entry privileges at 9:30 a.m. both days. So apparently it goes till 6 and 5, but, at 11 they went back to the public. There you go. They went back to the public thing where all the people were. All right, here we go. I got to do Twitch after this because I promised. And yes, I will live up to that promise. So we got to finish this thing soon. All right. So this is Amanda McManus. I'm a director of multiple fan conventions, including Anime Milwaukee. I've worked at anime conventions around the country in an executive level since 2004, and I have been the personal handler for Victor Mignogna at multiple conventions in the past. It is common practice in the convention circuit to assign a veteran handler to Mignogna due to his reputation and my personal experience of him as a difficult and demanding guest. Ooh. On January 30th, 2019, Anime Milwaukee publicly announced on Twitter that we and Mignogna had reached a mutual agreement to cancel his appearance as a guest at the convention in 2019. During a discussion with my fellow directors, I suggested Anime Milwaukee proactively offer to pay Mignogna his full guest appearance fee of $3,500 despite the agreement to cancel. Due to the inconvenient short notice and our desire to maintain professionalism in current circumstances, he was paid in full by the convention chair on March 22nd, 2019, ending our obligations to him for his appearance. Decision to agree to a mutual cancellation of invitation was based on several reasons. As this was mid to late January, our decision was made while the news was still very fresh and prior to any announcement about a possible lawsuit. One factor was the numerous allegations of his sexual harassment and assault tied to the criticism online that were suddenly being discussed very publicly by many people not involved in Mignogna's future lawsuit. While rumors about Mignogna have been around for as long as I've been working for conventions, I had not personally heard substantiated, actionable accusations until then. Well then. Well then. So with equal weight, our concerns were also on trying to put a successful event without avoidable distractions during pre-planning and on-site, and remembering our convention's focus as an organization that champions anti-harassment policies versus a perception of bringing any guest, not even Mignogna specifically, under this type of cloud. We were also concerned that Mignogna would find an unwelcome reception from our attendees due to the ongoing news at the time. In the name of good hospitality, we would not want that for any guests we bring. Bringing guests into a possibly toxic environment is not good practice for the guests, the convention, or, and most importantly, for the fans. Oh, they stole that! They stole it! The decision for Anime Milwaukee to mutually cancel Mignogna's appearance was not due to any actions of Monica Rial, Ronald Toye, Jamie Markey, or Funimation. We did not receive any type of communication from Rial, Toye, Markey, or Funimation requesting that Anime Milwaukee cancel Mignogna, and they did not affect our decision. This concludes my affidavit testimony. Sure you didn't. Again, at least Toye was tweeting prior to this cancellation, tweeting significantly. So you can't actually say that you didn't do it because you said, this is great. This is great. While rumors about Mignogna have been around for as long as I've been working for conventions, I had not personally heard substantiated, actionable accusations until then. So the substantiated, actionable accusations that you did hear were what? Were what? What's new in 2019? Because all of the other things were apparently around. So what's new in 2019? Is it Monica? Is it Ron Toye? Is it Jamie Markey? Is it Funimation? Is it Anime News Network covering these things? What was it? You say that they didn't influence you at all, but at least Toye, if not Monica and Markey, were tweeting already. That investigation had been going on. Who's talking about the investigation? All right, next. Then we'll finish up. I'm the director and creator of Comic-Con. This is Raymond Lenzner. An annual convention that takes place in Birmingham, Alabama. Comic-Con is Alabama's largest anime and gaming convention. Also, I heard at Comic-Con they have cops with dogs that bite black people. That's a joke. That's a joke about Birmingham. Get over it. January 4th, by the way, Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, Revisionist History, has a really amazing take on the Birmingham, the famous photo from Birmingham with the cop and the dog and the leash and the black guy. It's great. You should really God, that's a great podcast episode. January 4th, 2019, Comic-Con announced that Vic Mignogna would attend as a celebrity guest. January 31st, announced that it had canceled his attendance as a guest. Neither Real Toye affected this decision to remove Mignogna as a guest at Comic-Con. January 2019, I and other members of the team became aware of significant drama and tension building up in the anime community concerning Comic-Con, or concerning Mignogna. We at Comic-Con did not come to the conclusion to cancel Mignogna's appearance because we believed one side of the dispute over the other. The reason we at Comic-Con decided to cancel Mignogna's appearance was because Mignogna's fan base had become hostile, while the fan base that disliked Mignogna had also become hostile. Comic-Con is a place for people to have an enjoyable, safe time. We believe that the quality of Comic-Con would be lessened if there was friction between the disputing fan bases during our event. Ultimately, we at Comic-Con decided that it would be beneficial to not have Mignogna attend our event because we wanted to ensure that the community who attends our event would be safe and respectful. This concludes my affidavit testimony. So there you go. So at best, the best result is they have eliminated two. They've eliminated two of the conventions Vic would have appeared at. At best. And that's only if they did. All right, so that's it, y'all. That's what I've got for today. Tomorrow we'll have more. I think there's more filings to go through still. I haven't gone through all of them. There's still always really digging through the rest of Markey or Real and Toye's motion. I could start on Markey's motion too. There's also Meyer versus Wade that I got to get to. There's a bunch, but I'm going to hit the super chats. And then we're going to wrap up the stream. And then I'm going to go to Twitch. Like a proper Twitch thought. Con teases Abound says their story is garbage. But it isn't uncommon for most anime conventions to still have concerts, dances, and other events late into the night. Events can run well after midnight. And the main floor doesn't usually clear out until almost 1 a.m. or later. I mean, maybe. At Matsuri, the main floor cleared out when it closed. So I don't know what Anime Blues Fest was. I don't know how you get onto the main floor where all of the stuff is, like all of the vendors' stuff is sitting there. I have a hard time believing they don't lock it down. But maybe. The GoFundMe knives is not tonight. It's not tonight. I'm waiting for the third knife, and I have to figure out how to appropriately do the GoFundMe for the knives without violating GoFundMe's stupid terms of service. I'm getting less and less patient with GoFundMe. But yes, we will do Twitch after this. I'm going to go to the bathroom first, maybe grab a quick snack. But we will do Twitch, and should be fun times. I'm either going to play Chaos Bane, Inquisitor. I might play Inquisitor, or I might play Risk of Rain. One of those things. We'll see. The vendor's room is in different room. Well, again, I don't know what Anime Blues Con is. Matsuri, it's all the same big room. But anyway. Here we go. Stealth Hispanic says, at Otakon last weekend, I had to run a panel at the same time as Funimation's Peep Show panel. My room was so full it had a wait line. Funimation's was fairly empty. Can I get a how embarrassing? How embarrassing. Asphyxiation donated, said Mundane Matt is a fat flaggot. Also, Maddox wants on, check your bike rack. Asphyxiation says the stupid message didn't go through. Mundane Matt is a fat flaggot. Maddox wants on, check your bike rack. Also talked to Odd Guy, Easy Peasy from ED a little while back. Said he might still want to do a stream. Hey, I love that guy. That guy's hilarious. Kay says, it feels like total BS. Monica and Co. Can claim to be close friends of Vic and then try to argue that he's a public figure. Seems fundamentally contradictory to try and hide behind public figure status, but to personally attack him. Yeah, doesn't it? Samus Maulane says, it's interesting how in their affidavits and pleadings they are portraying any man attempting to get laid as disgusting behavior, even if they say no and that person goes, okay. Absolutely. I'm Justin Y and I post pointless trash. Keep active, brew. Yeah, buddy. Of course. Every weeknight here on YouTube, unless I'm an Article 4 free inhabitant traveling, as is my right to do. One thing I want to say about these these supplements and supplemental affidavits may be untimely as far as the TCPA is concerned. There's not case law that I have found allowing or denying supplements or amendments to the TCPAs, especially substantial factual allegations that are contained here. I mean, they're adding facts to the TCPA that are relevant to dismissal, but they're doing it after the 60-day deadline. There is not, as far as I've found in my, and again, well, we're not talking I've done the deepest dive on earth here. There may be a case, but I went through several cases trying to find anything involving supplementing a motion on TCPA after the 60-day period. I can't find anything. So that means it's a novel question for the court. That means that CHUP will decide whether or not you can supplement beyond the hard line. And it is a hard limit. Like, the court would have to determine good cause to extend that 60-day window. The good cause is what? Well, we didn't have all of the evidence we wanted. Well, you waited 60 days. Actually, they got an extension on it already. So he would have to extend it beyond the extended period of time. I'm not convinced that they can definitely do this. They might be able to, but they'll need to ask the court for it, because I'm guessing. Let me correct that. I'm directing, evilly ordering Ty to contest the addition of the supplemental motion. Because no one would think to contest the addition of a supplemental motion after the 60-day window. No one would think to do that. I'm directing Ty to do it as the fourth-year lawyer mastermind. Nick's Adult Like Beard says, you're being a puss. You didn't drink. I didn't. It's right here. Lefroy. My LARP is now El Sancho'd Nick, now roast. To the loves we had, to the loves we lost, and to all the rest, F 'em. It's bad form to say a cheers and not drink, so cheers, Law Dog. Back to you, buddy. Cheers. All right. Okay, next. BSZ says, hey, Nick, just some creative writing research here. You once mentioned people wanting to win by running the other party down monetarily. Wade, Soinica, how common is this in general? Oh, it's extremely common. Heard of it used for child custody and a divorce. How common there? Really common in family law. Often if you have one person who's a primary income earner, especially in a high income household, like let's say you have a guy who's a CEO of a company, and the wife who's a stay-at-home mom, because she doesn't have to work. Like, she has no need. Guys pulling in 200, 300K a year. They're very comfortable. No need for the woman to work. So she decides to stay home or pursue self-fulfillment or raise the children or whatever she wants to do. Doesn't matter. He's like, nah, it's cool. I got it. Why would I need you to go out and earn something? Go do something that makes you happy, sweetheart. And then they get divorced. Or if they have two disparate incomes, like say the guy makes $75K a year and the woman makes $30K a year. Big difference in income. And with $75K a year, you could certainly bleed out someone who makes only $30K. I've actually run into that situation. So it's tough. It's tough. The other party's able to pay their bills, and the one party's not. How do you represent that person? Well, you got to get an attorney who will do it. But yeah, it's nasty. Very common in divorce. Kay says, my dream outcome for this case is that Monica and Ron have to use their personal connections to get Vic back to as many conventions as they can. Paying out of pocket the average losses revenue yearly for at least 5 years seems fitting. I don't think they have anything in their pockets to pay out of pockets. Meshikiari Roos says, in here, Leighton Fig, lol, a question. Do any of the conventions mentioned in the end still have Moron or any of the others still attending? So the argument of fan bases being concerned kind of pointless? No. I don't know. I'm sure the Kiwis know. I don't know. Knight of Hopex says, hey, Lemoine, I heard you don't like it when we make fun of your raspy F-boy Darth Vader voice. Yeah, we'll put that one in your next motion, B-word. Bet you won't. Short Round says, all these guys are super lawyers. I heard you were a super lawyer and have a trophy to prove it. I'll show it tomorrow. I'll show off my trophies tomorrow, Short Round. Short Round's bad police advice 15. If you claim you are having a heart attack during your DUI test, we have to stop it and it gives you time to sober up. That's good advice. You should claim that you need listen, I'm having a heart attack. I need some crackers or something. If you don't have aspirin, I need crackers. Kay says, I'm hoping Sabbath gets sued so I can pay the band Dick used for his victory jingle to do a mix. Sabbath lost because his lawyers effing suck. Vic is the winner. Kay says, if Ron challenged you to a fist fight, would you accept? Oh, sure. Yeah. 100%. I'm not even joking. If we could make sure it was 100% legal and above board, I would fist fight that little manlet all day. Ben Cheever says, do you think Lemoine wrote the letter because making a brief would require actual work with laws cited because he's not getting paid and he just wrote the letter to skip half the stuff he should be doing? He wrote the letter, in my opinion, because writing an opposition motion is harder. The formatting doesn't allow for whining in the same way. You still can whine in it, but it's just tough. Short Round says, GoFundMe.com, Nick Rekieta versus Ron Toye MMA match. Someone wants to help get Jay Sean paid. Are you man enough, little Nicky? Also, would this be like beating a kitten to death with a puppy, since your reach is greater than Ron's height? Yeah, I do an MMA match with Ron any day. Any day. Oh God. I haven't even trained in years, and I would confidently stroll into that MMA match. Civilian of the Phantom Wars says, finally caught a stream live. Hey Nick, did you get the custodes thing I knitted? Oh yes, I did. It's upstairs. I need to bring it down. My wife is like, what is this? And I'm like, sweetie, it's the Emperor's Justice. The custodes. Like, huh? Never mind. Keep up the good work, man. I will, tomorrow, I'll open the show. I had to open the show with the Twitter stuff tonight. I'll open the show tomorrow with a bunch of stuff that fans have sent in, actual fan mail. Mercenary X says, just dropped another 10 for Vic. Please send in my message that you both are doing God's work and bringing back sanity as well as God's ability to make 4chan, 8chan, the Kiwi farms jealous of his ability to troll everyone in any way, like he is with Kick Vic. Knight of Hopex says, no offense to my fellow whiteys, but why are all the supposed victims in these Me Too things pasty, pale, unattractive weirdos with below average personalities? I know it's irrelevant to the facts, but it's some coincidence they all look like unwanted runts. Oh, brutal. Schwazoom says, and then Vic Mignogna told us, my age may be in the 50s, but Broly's power level is maximum. And then he shot laser beams out of his mouth. He blew up half the hotel, but nobody reported it because he was too important in the anime community. PTB Rules says, Your Honor, my client's current plea is that age is just a number. The Honorable Rekieta under his breath and beard. Rekieta, dang lolicons. Schwazoom says, we saw him do pedo stuff all the time at conventions, so we sent him friendly emails and agreed to hang out with him in his hotel room. The inconsistency. Lemoine, Facetious Sage says, Lemoine says Vic invited defamation. Is his opinion that defamed folks should shut up and take it because it'll be over soon? 2 on the Yo statements. I'll need to rewind, but did both sisters claim watching their sister kiss first? No. Elizabeth was kissed first, and What's-Her-Face said Elizabeth was kissed first. Schwazoom says, affidavit alleging an investigation happened. No copy of investigation. Affidavits alleging that he was banned from convention. No emails, SMS, or any other communications. Affidavits alleging apologies by Manana. No email. I hope Ty hammers this. I mean, I'll tell him he has to. Where Tiger Ray says, there is indeed a strip show at the con, at least at the 2019 con. Why would anyone think that there's sexually charged activity at anime cons? They have a literal freaking strip show. Crimson Fist. Hey, good name. Says, too bad all of y'all got killed except for like 10. Hi, Nick. Been lurking for a bit and finally decided to donate. Hey, thanks. Thanks for helping Vic and getting me into 40K. On the topic of 40K, you never really talk about Nurgle. What's your opinion on him? Nurgle gives the best gifts. Papa Nurgle is the best. I mean, I'm a corn guy, but Papa Nurgle is better to his followers. Palantir says, if only Texas had more mosquito nets, then every year we could stop millions of mosquitoes from contracting the West Nile virus from Jay Sean Lemoine. Oh, come on. Blaine 20 says, British accents. Please, sir, I want some clout. Master, what? Wait, that wasn't British. Please, sir, I want some clout. Clout? I don't know. Clout? John Albert says, hey, Nick, I had a crazy weekend on Saturday. My dog wasn't moving and looked like he was dying. Sunday came and he didn't look any better. But on Monday, he started to walk around and feel better. Found out he had a wound on him, got infected with maggots. Took him to the vet and he's all better now. Good. That's a wild weekend, buddy. Takagi Onsai says, past curfew and fatally attracted to Jay Sean. No! Abel Ocampo says, first ever chat. Hey, thanks, buddy. Love the show. Also, you're late. I was late today. I'm sorry. Pie Baker says, Emperor, dang it, Nick. If your next ethics complaint does not contain that you abuse kids by forcing them to watch you break their spoons, I will be disappointed. Professor Azriel says, sent a Twitter DM. Kind of important. Ty sees it. Okay. Sam Everyman says, did you check your P.O. box? I'm hoping your dudes made it safely. They did, Sam. And tomorrow, thank you so much, by the way. Tomorrow, I'm going to show off all that cool stuff that was waiting for me in the P.O. box when I got back from Texas. Lane 20 says, ain't nobody late as me. I'm just so late, so gay, so late, and so gay. Kalinka Pavlova says, Dunford going for PhD because his own D is tiny AF. Oh, brutal. Blouten says, 6 a.m. in Germany. Shift starts. My wife and I watching your videos after work. Police officer and teacher. Thanks for many entertaining hours. Best wishes for you and your family. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. And all of the blessings to Germany. I hope to visit someday. I've only been to Paris. Well, and a little bit like Loire River Valley and then up to Nice and Mont Saint-Michel. I've only been to France. How's that? I need some more Euro time. Indie Visualist says, Renfamous supposedly worked at an unethical PR firm paid by Marvel to attack CG. Why is she after Tug? If she's a paid troll, is that a gay op? I don't know that Renfamous actually worked for, what's their stupid name? Why can't I think of it? Oh my gosh, it was employees, Weber Shandwick. Weber Sandwich, that's right. Weber Shandwick. I don't know that Renfamous was actually employed by Weber Shandwick. What's his face is? Kwanzaa. Black Kwanzaa, right? He was employed by Weber Shandwick. Was hired by Mark Wade after all this. Very interesting stuff there. But why is she after Tug? Because she's bored. She's bored. Have you seen her life? It's depressing. Jay says, 16-year-old dog had just put down, raise one for Sam. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, buddy. I don't like dogs, but I know other people do, and I know that's rough. Jared Tibbs, thanks for the donation. Reek says, don't die, please, Nick. I haven't 40K'd with you, with you yet. Oh, don't worry, buddy. I'm around for a while. Willie Woodward says, how much is it for a consultation? I typically do free consultations. I thought that was going to be how much is it for a consultation joke. I I typically do free consultations. It depends on what happens at the consultation. Depends on what happens at the consultation. You know what I'm saying. Other Barry says poly equals Latin, amorous equals Greek. Coons can't pick a language. Cuns, C-U-N-Z. I don't know what C-U-N-Z is. Reek says, I did a 3 Reapers, lost the video, but 2 colonels and several airmen can vouch for me. Oh, God. Trick is to get him down quickly and then cry for a while. Andrew War Snowboard says, a Reaper Pepper needs to be for 100K because you'll already be crying about your silver play button, plus form letter from Susan Wachishki. I'm Justin Y and I post pointless trash. Whoa, thanks, buddy. It says for Sam. I mean, I think that deserves a little Texas whiskey, right? Little Texas whiskey for Sam. You know, our dog, like, again, I'm not a dog person, that's fine, but I know our dogs are our homies. So I'll pour one out, Texas Republic whiskey, for your homie. There you go. Corathus says, add the Death Nut challenge to the Reaper stream. What's a Death Nut? Cynic in Chief says, Carolina Reaper is a hot pepper. Carolina Creeper is another name for T. Craig Doucette. Matthew Needing says, do a call-in show for 75K. Man, I don't know about a call-in show on YouTube. That's how you get shut down real quick. The Raft says, just finished making the Euthanasia coaster in No Limits 2 Roller Coaster Simulator. No Limits 2 Roller Coaster Simulator. Gonna ride it in the VR tonight after the stream. Love your content. Oh, my goodness, it yawns. If they lose, very possible. And possibly warranted. Chris Jablonski says, in best Lemoine impression, I love you, daddy rackets. Like I love my con sluts. Give me more of that delicious YouTube lawsplaining. Love you, Nick. Hey, back at you, buddy. Thanks. Causality says, Nick, we know this entire scheme is your brainchild because Ty Beard is a moron who took your advice that retweets and likes are defamation. Yep. Kevin Flesher, hey, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. See you at Road Rage Minneapolis, Airbnb, dude. Cheers. Awesome. The stream just hiccuped. It's back. Okay, the stream is back. Sorry. You guys are a little bit behind. You'll catch up. You'll catch up and see that it's back. Sorry. There you go. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Never mind. Good. I'm glad left Jews enjoy my content too, because I enjoy left Jews. Rachel 2538 says legal to force office work if remote okay and against doctor. Guy, that's going to be a state specific question, Rachel. That's a really specific question. It'll depend on state law. I want to say there's problems with it. Austin, oh wait, Blaine 20 says call $2 Thai seek sanctions, raise $3 succeeds against Lemoine. Austin Kinkle says Jay Sean voice, if you smell what the cough is cooking. Hellbeard Doomsnake says, Nick, if the judge grants Ty's current motion, will it move everything to the 29th, or will there still be some kind of hearing on the 8th? No, currently they have a motion to strike Funimation's affidavit scheduled for the 8th. I imagine that they're probably really trying to get motions to strike for Monica and or Markey filed in advance of 3 days before the 8th. I imagine that's what's going on, but I don't know. Thedius says, Nick, you need a Judge White wig for the KV Big Brain rants. Lane 20 says, what are the chances that Vic could demand in lieu of monetary reward that Ron's staff at Vic's home carrying a snack tray and butler uniform? Hey, in settlement, a lot of things are possible. Raider J, Freighter sent my wife a very funny gift that we'll have to get her on stream to show. Ty saying mutually assured destruction to the judge ensures that courtroom proceedings are very dramatic production. Beard. Lane 20 says Chup can't watch your show. He has to read Lemoine's filings with a straight face and not hear them in the Lebane voice in his head. Ragi Top Otaku says, A. Stallings again? I still have the archives of when he claimed you were sanctioned twice. Yeah. That guy's great. He's great. That's okay. His wife dated a guy named Steve while they were married, and he posted about it. OM3 Omega Hybrid. Objection, you stole Lady Racket's heart. Aww. Vidin the Cold One says, thanks for keeping these insomniac entertained. Give some of my paycheck to Vic and Tug. Gave, not give. That was a statement, not a command. I like the Spike Man says, I'll send you some KC barbecue hot sauce that is hotter than any Reaper Naga Buta I've ever had. Also, I'm in Minnesota this month. Might send you an email if you have a night or afternoon free for a drink. Please do. Please do. Both. I'll take some hot sauce. Let's see. The Geek Conservative says, you've never stolen anything in your life except the hearts of Jamie Markey, Maronica, Ron Soye, Jay Sean Lemoine, etc., etc., etc. Fran Pawa says, Father's Day, Dad Masterson, and Dad Racket stream. Didn't we pass Father's Day? Didn't that happen? Blaine 20 says, we already know that Ty is your father. You are the secret beard child. That's why Ty and your uncle know each other. Yep, that's true. Indie says, so thread knot stands for the not a thread of logic. Takagi Onsai says, so the Yost twins are April and April May. Yost twins are April May, hashtag crazy eyes. I don't know what that means. No one important says, this all reads, begone, thought. Mr. Schwaggins says, I picture Vic sounding like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights, asking if he can kiss them on the mouth when Luke talking to the twins. Can I kiss you on the mouth? Blaine 20 says, as third-party intervener, I object to the injection of saucy fanfic into the public court system. Hashtag travesty. RJ Hatfield says, paralyzing kiss. Wannabe romance novel chicks. Pfft. Austin Heartless says, I'm starting to think you don't mean in Minecraft. You may know my secret. You may know my secret. Blaine 20. Wait. Silent Schism. Hey, Nick, I'm burning the midnight oil writing property insurance claims in Wisconsin. Oh, my God. Glad to catch you live again. Do you ever deal with homeowner insurance suits? Man, I did one. And the insurance provider was a Township Mutual, and it was a mess. It was a mess. They are not regulated like other insurers. It's just, and they were being real dicks. But we got good results on that one. That was fun. Oh. I try not to, though. Lane 20 says, hashtag Sue Jaws Mantello win. Lane 20 says, hashtag support FantasySoft. Jerk Kit says she destroyed tweets, lock her up, and send her back to the womb. Lane 20, Lemoine cough. Those twins are con sluts. Rando number 9 says, I totally wish I was friends with Johnny Young Bosch just because I met him once. CLJ Screwjob says, Nick plus actual Daddy Rackets, Chad Dad at 75K, 100K. I'll have to ask him if he'd be interested. CLJ Screwjob says, it's ma'am. Mamica Real. Midnight Kitsune says, I just figured out why everyone freezes up on Vic. They're part opossum, case closed. No one important says, poof. And then I said, what are we going to do on the bed? What are we going to do on the bed, Vic Oni-chan? Rando number 9 says, these left-wing leaning parasites, they expect us to sit here and listen to their drivel. No one important says, I know, let's guilt him, pissing him off even more. That'll calm things down. Koa Mitorashi says, Vic Mignogna is a hot, raging Chad, and we can't resist his charm. Jason of the Great Awakening says, and this here is how SJWs convince themselves via narcissism that everyone else is literally the H-man. Hyrule 47 says, hey, Nick, thank you for all you do. Take my super chat sloppy seconds. More to come. Sent you an email about my girlfriend's GoFundMe. Please look for her. Give her a smile. I'll have to look for the email. Crackbot says, you know what? I think he spurned one or both of them and they felt suddenly slutty about it. Seen it before. Joseph Tech says, Anime BluesCon 2015 ran till 2 a.m. with events that night. Asia, well, that's good to know. Thank you for clarifying that. Asia Fraser says, not leaving when things turn ominous is why white chicks are brutally murdered in horror movies. That's the best part about watching horror movies at Drexel. He points out all the problems with what white people do in them. Vidin the Cold One says, shout out to Kyoto Animation for being brave enough through the horrible tragedy which happened recently. Brave through the horrible tragedy which happened recently. Shout out to Kyoto. Dracula Garfunkel says, apparently Vic is more powerful than Broly. Racket's antediluvian IT skill says, fight or flight, not stand still in fright. Jason of the Great Awakening says, we do have to educate the world on simple things. That's why it's called the Great Awakening. Great job, champion. Chaos Blade says, I notice you usually drink your whiskey straight instead of with ice. Do you have any preference on temperature? Room temperature is my preference. Personally, I like to warm mine by catching it on fire in the glass for a few seconds. Ooh. That's interesting, but that'd burn off some of the liquor fumes. Blaine 20 says, Jeremy Hambley and Yellow Flash don't even sound alike. Soch. I don't know. Maybe they are the same guy, though. Afro Man John says, yo, girl, let me see your bunghole. What are your intentions with this statement? Oh, it shouldn't be as funny. That shouldn't be as funny. Blaine 20 says, Grandmaster Chup calls for a duel. Master Ty versus Doth Lemoine. Artist, go. Blaine 20 says, am I the only one who think of the Kiwis as Ewoks? They're extremely helpful, cute, and ugly at the same time, but will skewer you in a heartbeat. Batgoat says, I almost want to go back to the old Russell Greer stories just to cleanse the palate. I know, man, those are funny. Jason of the Great Awakening says, all totally coincidence, not debt-based scam by commie colleagues. Commie colleges. Silva says, Epstein will have 1 million pages of evidence. Ouch. Corathus says, Death Nut Challenge is 5 differently dusted peanuts, starting at Ghost Pepper and ending in Pepper X. Lane 20 says, I got her in the shower. It wasn't me. I got her sister on the counter. It wasn't me. Jason of the Great Awakening says, your Jay Sean is great, Nick. If someone does an anime Davros from Doctor Who, will you apply? Sure. Sammy Perez says, oi, us liberals are out here supporting Vic too. It's the feminists and NPCs that hate Vic so much, innocent until proven guilty. Hashtag I stand with Vic. That's why I don't like the liberal conservative thing, because, I mean, on some things I'm very liberal, I suppose. And on other things I'm very conservative. And I don't think the dichotomy of our current political system adequately assesses who we are as people. But, I went to law school. If you think I can't be friends with liberals, you're dead wrong. Medden says, first time I catch you live. Kind regards from Germany. Hey, thanks, buddy. All right. I think that's it, guys. That's it. Oh, you know what I got to do? Got to play that outro. Play that outro music. Hold on. Here we go. There it is. There's the outro music. All right, guys. In the description is a link to Twitch, twitch.tv/Rekieta Law. They have denied my partner application despite me meeting their criteria for 1 whole month. So I guess I have to apply. I have to stream more and then reapply, which I think is rude. But anyway, I'm going to hit Twitch in just a second, but I am going to run to the bathroom first because, oh man, do I need it. And then I'll grab some snacks. We'll do Twitch for like an hour to 2 hours tops. But yeah, come join me. Come join me. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Join me tomorrow night. By the way, if you haven't ever checked out the Twitch show, I know it's late for many of you. I know it's late, but if you're a night owl or if you have an overnight job or whatever, check out the Twitch show. It's a little different than the YouTube show, mainly because I'm playing a video game, but I'm also able to respond to questions that don't have money attached to them because there's less people watching. So if you want to come, if you have a question, and I know that the money barrier is a problem for some people, and you know, there's not much I can do about that. I just can't keep up with several thousand people in the chat. I can't do that. So if the money barrier is an issue for you, no shame. Come to Twitch. Just ask me on Twitch. And if I tag me or whatever, and if I see your chat, I do try to respond. So it's a whole different format. It's very laid back, and it's very open. You can ask questions about any sort of the subjects I'm talking about, or anything or whatever, and I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Make sure you catch tomorrow night's show. I'll announce what it's going to be about when I get it set up. And, oh, we've got one more. Ring Wraither says, Vic was once caught up in a hit and run, chased down by 20 cops. Once they caught up with him and realized it was Vic, they decided not to press charges because of his influence in the anime community. I believe that. I believe that. And, oh, Yakose says, the great Rekieta versus the tiny manlet Soye. God, that would be, oh, that'd be so much fun. I love me some MMA. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. And I can't wait to see what they spurg out about tomorrow on Twitter. It should be good. You guys have a good night. Peace. Peace.
No one explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed.